Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 104. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots 104. Man, sometimes I just say the number without thinking about it, but then there's days like today where I actually think about how long 104 weeks are, and it kind of blows me away.
No, it's exactly 2 years. Exactly 2 years. And what's
Exactly
weird
two
is we
years.
had a
Yeah, you're
couple.
right.
Yeah, we've had a couple weeks where we didn't do stuff, or we had some time, around the end of the year shows and stuff. So it's been well over 2 years, and you can tell by the spit and polish on this show. Now, it's one of those things that it doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I look forward to doing the show, talking about VR. The world could fall apart and go on fire, Wes, and it is. But I'm still going to enjoy VR, and it's like somebody said in the was it Wolveraza in the Discord, man. He just basically said that no matter how bad the world gets, as VR aficionados and veterans or even newbies, we have an escape, and we need it now, and I love it. So
Yeah, I think Mike actually picked the perfect channel name, right? With the VR Oasis, because that's very much what this is. Not only the games, but this show and this community for me is kind of like the Oasis. And besides that, it's an interesting timestamp. I anytime I want to get a big picture view of how fast things are changing and how profound an impact any certain thing has had on the industry, I can just go back through my show notes, and it's a very interesting read. So yeah, man. I mean, the times they are changing. They're changing quickly, and the virtual strangers program, the news program, is always a good marker for all of these seismic events that we seem to have on a weekly basis these days.
yeah, yeah, it's out of control and it's crazy, and I love it. It's the one thing in my life that I enjoy is where VR is going, and it's an exciting time for sure.
Yeah, where VR is going is exciting because we're starting to see now the first little vestiges of what I think is going to be a fairly significant competitive spirit between the major players in VR. And when I say the major players in VR, I mean Facebook and Sony. Because I've often said that I don't think Sony looks at Facebook so much as a competitor, because they do so much other stuff besides just VR. VR is just one of many things that they're doing. But it's becoming more and more clear that Facebook absolutely sees Sony as a competitor. They reference them often, and many times it's in statements to the effect of, "We like to see the other guys do well because it allows our developers to make some extra money." You see these types of statements more and more from people like Jason Rubin. But beyond that, I mean, we had the Capcom showcase recently, and we talked about the significance of Facebook, um, taking the center stage on that with their Resident Evil 4 announcement. And then this past week, we had the Facebook shareholders call, and Zuckerberg making some comments about VR like he often does. Only this time he made a fairly specific comment about how some other products may be hitting the marketplace pretty soon. But he don't think that the consumer demand is going to be there because there's going to be, quote, a cable. And I think it was funny how he tiptoed around it. We all know what he was talking about, right? He's talking about PlayStation VR 2, the recently revealed I guess PlayStation VR 2, and the fairly I don't know, significant comments from Jim Ryan that it wasn't going to be wireless, that it was going to have a single wire. And apparently, Zuck's banking on that being a deal breaker for consumers.
I don't think he realizes that's not a deal breaker. Not if you have a superior system. I mean, PCVR people will tell you that right off the bat. It is the one thing that Quest has, even if you are, or if it was wired, if you are wired, is the simplicity of getting into the UI, right? And opening stuff up, even when you're connected. It's a lot easier than say, going to your PCVR and doing it. At least I think so. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think Quest is um, an interesting case study, right? In what it's going to take for VR to break through, because it is making so much headway with the mainstream audience. And I don't think that wireless is an insignificant part of that at all. I think wireless is actually a fairly big deal, but it's not the main driver here. I think the main driver here is pricing, accessibility. It's the first time VR has ever been affordable, and I think that that kind of has a lot to do with its popularity. And I think as long as Sony delivers a product that's affordable, that and of course supports it with the kind of games that we know that they're capable of putting out, I don't think they're going to have any issue whatsoever selling those headsets.
I think that's the main thing. What you just said there is, to me, is bigger than almost anything else. Is content is king, and I was just talking to Mash about that before the show. I am so myself as a person that's been in VR for 3 years. I am so over going into a game and looking at my hands and looking around and flipping a lever and all the generic bullshit that we've had for 3 years. I want gameplay. I want gameplay loop. I want I want everything that's in the AAA game. Like even the PSVR or the PlayStation 5 games that are coming out, the new ones, one in particular, is the gameplay I've heard is so amazing. That's what I want in VR. I could give a fuck about how good it looks. I keep going back to Lone Echo and the fetch quests. It looked amazing, boring as hell to me. Awesome. Today it sucks. Back then it was awesome, and that's my opinion. You guys might hate me for it, but that's how I feel. I'm just done with the shallow. I want the rich, amazing gameplay that Sony's going to bring, because they do it every time. They know what they're doing when it comes to making games. So,
Yeah, I think that people, ourselves included, don't fully understand yet the kind of experience that Sony's going to be bringing, not only to PlayStation 5 exclusives, but to the PlayStation 5 VR system. I mean, over the last, what, 6 to 9 months, they've invested over $400 million in Epic Games and Unreal Engine. I mean, they're doing that for a reason. The capabilities that this engine is going to bring with it are so profound that they promise to have an impact not only on the gaming industry but the movie making industry as well. That these are the types of things that Unreal Engine 5 is going to do. So when you look at the type of games the next gen Sony VR is going to bring with it, we're talking about new levels of immersion that VR hasn't seen before.
yeah, absolutely. And the peripherals, right? That's one of the things that seems like Sony works on, whether it be the new controllers or the aim control or whatever. It's something that is next level, and that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot in recent weeks about haptics, right? When it comes to like the B haptic suit, and people often describe it as another layer of immersion in the game. And often when we think about haptics and their application in video games, we're thinking about the impact that it has on the game's immersiveness. But I've been playing. Yesterday, I played a little bit of Returnal, which is really the first big Sony exclusive for the next generation. I mean, we had some other games, Spider-Man Miles Morales, the Demon Souls, but these games were remakes of older games. They weren't full-fledged exclusives built around the new capability of the hardware. Returnal is, and they're using haptics in this game in a different manner than I've ever seen them used before. Sure, it does make the profound impact on the game's immersiveness that we all expected it to. But what I wasn't expecting was the use of haptics in a way that affects the gameplay. So what I mean by this, and I posted a great video that the artist formerly known as PSVR Frank just put up on his channel, The Game Show, that describes this perfectly. But the haptics in this game, um, they're not only used to immerse you in the game, but you use the haptics as you play the game. So, for example, as you approach certain enemies, you'll feel their presence in the controller, or certain environmental hazards. Remember, we're on a hostile alien, landscape here. There are environmental hazards, and as you get in closer proximity to those, you'll feel it uh, in the controller. And I don't just mean you'll feel vibrations. I mean each specific thing will have its own specific feeling. And another example is in the gunplay. Each gun has a straight firing mode and an alternate firing mode, and the alternate firing mode generally being something more destructive, like heat seeking missiles or some kind of energy attack. But when you use the alternate firing mode, you have to let the gun cool and recharge. And the way that you know that your gun is recharged and ready to use again, typically you would know by looking at some kind of meter on the screen. Not here. The way you know here is you feel it in the controller. When the gun's ready to use again, the haptics change and you know your gun's ready to use again. It's next level use like this in these haptics, which we already have been confirmed to be in the next gen VR controller from Sony. It's this type of stuff that's really going to make a big difference when we move away from the flat screen and into the headset.
Oh, I'm excited now, for sure. Well, and we know this is going to be next level, like you said, for the PCVR or PSVR games. I was saying in the Discord the other day, maybe these will be the controllers that we were hoping to get in the index controllers, because that, if people don't realize, or maybe you're new to VR, like when they announced the Knuckles controllers, is what they were called, like that's what people wanted. Like that, I mean, it was everything. I wanted the Knuckles, man. And then after they came out and they had so many issues, and I'm not saying they're not good, they're just not what we thought they were. Like they were supposed to be the holy grail of controllers, and I think Sony's got the holy grail of controllers coming out for PlayStation VR 2, and it makes me psyched to see what's gonna.
Bro, you can crush the cans, bro.
Oh, that's right. You can crush the cans, and you can flip people off. I mean, who doesn't want to flip people off? That's what VR is all about.
You can also flip off the thumbstick. Apparently, if you flip it too hard, it'll break right off.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. And it's funny too, because we hear a lot of stuff about a lot of faulty products, but I never really hear the index people talk about that anymore. It's like they just kind of brush it away, like under the rug. You know what I mean? Look at this amazing system, but let's not talk about the controller.
Go to Reddit. They're talking about it on Reddit, bro. I promise you that.
That's true. That's true. Well, I know it got one of the best Ranthony rants I've ever heard. That was a good one, and I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's a weird time for
it is indeed. But back to Returnal for a minute. It's interesting. The way you kind of sold me on Crashland is by or one of the ways anyway that you sold me on Crashland is by pointing out the similarities that the game has with Farpoint, which is one of my favorite games ever. And when I saw the promo material for Returnal, Farpoint's really what came to my mind. It looked like a Farpoint sequel to me, which was great. But as it was interesting as I started playing it, I got to thinking, Ruuts, this is the concept of Returnal. You crash land on an alien planet, and you're trying basically to escape. You go through these sequences, and the more you play, the more you unlock, the better abilities unlock, the better guns unlock. And then you die and you start all over again by crashing into the alien planet and doing the same thing. Only this time you have new abilities, you have better guns, and lather, rinse, and repeat. Where have we heard this before?
Yeah, well, it sounds very very similar to Crashland. I
Yeah.
wonder. I mean, you've been playing this game now for 2 hours. What are the animations like compared to Crashland? Because I know that animation,
Oh,
the dude is like,
dude.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's not comparable on any kind of technical level. Obviously, one being a VR game and the other being a flat game. But I would say that like if Crashland came out 20 years ago, and every 2 years we got a next gen sequel, Returnal is like Crashland 10. You know
Okay.
what I mean? It's like it's crazy. It's almost photo real on the screen. The animations, the graphics, the sound. Again, we already talked about the next generation haptics. It's an amazing feat in gaming technology. Now, with that said, it's still flat. It's still flat, and I find it easier. Even with this big HDR 4K panel in front of my face, I find it's easier to see things and judge things in VR with that when you have that true depth and that real up close view. I'd rather, if I have my druthers, play a game that has PS3 era graphics, but it be in VR, than have something be perfectly photoreal on a flat panel. VR makes that big of a difference.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, I mean, and that's the thing. Even a PlayStation 3 in the VR graphics would still look better than on a screen because you're in there. And as long as the gameplay is good, I could care less. You know what I mean? Like I would rather play a shitty looking game that is amazing. The gameplay is amazing in VR than the other way around. That's just where I'm leaning now these days. So
Well, that's where this game excels, and yes, it is beautiful. It is photoreal. These next gen games are like playing a movie, man. It's like literally playing in a movie. But what makes Returnal so good is the gameplay loop. It's it's so fast paced, and it's a third person game mostly. There are some first person sequences, but it's a third person game mostly with a very very compelling story. But the gameplay, it's so fast paced, and the locomotion controls are so fast yet so precise that when you get a little bit of experience, it just feels so good to play. And we've talked about it before, like flat games are different. Like playing a VR game, it's such a stimulating experience that even the best, most polished VR games, if I'm in it for 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm done. I've got to have a break. That's not the case with these flat games, man. If you get something with an addictive gameplay loop like this, I mean, I could play it all day and not have to take a break.
yeah, it's just comfortable. You're sitting back. You don't have something on your face. Your eyes aren't straining as much. You're just it's not hot. There's just a lot of things, and a lot of these games we at least most people or a lot of people stand up. If you're standing, that's gonna affect it as well. But you're right. There's something draining about it, and I think it's a lot of things. A lot of it is the being overwhelmed with all the stimulation. But I still submit that our eyes, even though we can not get sick, I don't think 90 frames is quite enough. Like if they could, double it, which I don't think that they're going to be doing that. But say you get 100, I mean, there's going to be a point where it's going to be less taxing on your body, less taxing on your eyes. It's going to feel more comfortable. And I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, yeah. Playing VR is like it's like being with a lady, right? It's the best feeling in the world, but man, once you hit that few hour mark, it's time to take a break. We need a sandwich and a nap, right?
Some water.
But playing flat games rather, is kind of like hanging out with the boys. Like it's not quite the same as hanging out with the lady. Thankfully, for most of us anyway, it's not quite the same as hanging out with a lady. But it's still a good time in its own right. And you could spend days with the guys and not even think about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I think multiplayer, that's one of the things that I enjoy the most about like Escape from Tarkov is just hanging out with Jim and Mash and Radio Runt, and, for several hours, joking around, playing whatever, the camaraderie, right? I think there's a lot to that as well. Just hanging out with your friends, and so it's cool.
Yeah, Scion making some sarcastic comments about Edge of Nowhere, but clarifying it in the end, just so that everyone knows that the Edge of Nowhere is awesome, and it really is. Actually, Edge of Nowhere was kind of on my list of hopes and dreams for PlayStation VR, because I do think that the Sony headset could run that game. And now that Sony owns Insomniac, I mean they bought that catalog, right? So you'd think that it's at least a possibility that we could see that game come to PlayStation
I'd
VR.
love to see a sequel or a similar game of some sort. I don't know how they would make a sequel, but I guess the way that they did it, they probably could. Because I didn't know what the hell was going on in that game. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you don't know what's real, what's not real. Things are happening. That was such. I agree with Sign. Amazing game. If you haven't played it, definitely worth checking out for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those that I should go back now on the next gen stuff and look at it. It's been such a while since I played it, and there's just so much new stuff that I really can't go back and enjoy the old stuff like I'd really like to, you know.
Yeah, G to it. That's one of the things that we've kind of alluded a little bit to in the last few episodes. We've made comments here or there, but I will definitively say my experience as well from what you've said with Revive has been, I, like it's phenomenal. Like you know what I mean. I will used to think that you had a disadvantage by having a Steam headset if you were going to play Oculus exclusives, but my experience, I haven't seen a difference. And as far as I mean, granted, I'm still using the Quest too, but playing a Quest Oculus game from Steam VR with or however I ended up doing it through Revive, right? It played flawless, so I was surprised.
Yeah, yeah, I've never had an issue with Revive. Now, I'm sure it's like anything else. It's like virtual desktop or anything. You're going to come across a game here and there at some point that doesn't do exactly what it's supposed to. But I haven't found that game yet. Everything I've tried in Revive has worked flawlessly. And with regards to the G2, um, it was when I tried VR Adventure through Revive that I really uh, that's when I decided I'm keeping it. It was just so beautiful looking and it ran so well. I was like, this thing is awesome. I can't get rid of it. And then Lone Echo in the G2, incredible, incredible. So yeah,
Definitely worth having it.
Revive's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, lots of new stuff to talk about in the news this week. Some interesting things this week. A lot of new ideas and concepts coming to familiar games in this week's news. And we're getting ready to talk about all that. But before we do that, let's kick it off the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. And we already said hello to our friend Scion. Scion stopping by for the PlayStation VR talk that he loves so much. And Lipnox is here. Says, funny enough, I play my virtual desktop stuff in 60 FPS to boost the visual quality as opposed to having higher FPS. Yes, everybody has different eyes, right? And everybody notices things and sees things differently. Some people are more sensitive to the frame rate than others. I'd like to think that I'm one of these people who it doesn't really like. The difference between 72 and 90 is minimal to me. Like most of the time I can't tell a difference. But there are other people, I mean, the difference between 80 and 90 is like a big deal to them. So I really think it's just everybody has different eyes.
Yeah. I still think it's weird, because Oculus and everybody, when I came into VR, it was just known it had to be 90. You have to have 90 frames. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, you can do 80. And it's got to be 80 or above. Well, you can do 72. So something's happening. Either they're figuring stuff out with technology to offset it, which is what I believe, or they were wrong all along. So
I think that there's internal debate at Facebook regarding these features. I think really that the science hasn't changed. They've just moved the line as to what they consider to be acceptable. Like when they first released their products, they have the highest standard. If it's not perfect, then it doesn't go to the public. And then over time, you see people doing things through side loading and uh, people enjoying these features that Oculus keeps locked down. And then you have Carmack pointing that out, saying, look at all these people on side quests using virtual desktop. Look at them using this, look at them using that. And over time, after he browbeats them for long enough, they eventually move the line down and allow us to have access to all of these great features.
Man, doesn't it make you wish Carmack was still there instead of like an
He really is. I listened to him have a conversation. Upload VR published it the other day. It was a Twitter, um, not proper Twitter, but there's like a Twitter Spaces or something like that that you can have these types of you know, talks in, for lack of a better word, audio sessions. And Upload VR recorded a conversation between Carmack and I think it was Bosworth, and they it's pretty obvious that while Carmack's not working there on a day to day basis, uh, he still has a lot of stroke there with regards to the direction that they take with their product lines. And I think it's ironic, Roots, because when you talk about the PCVR community, they also tend to have this reverence for uh, uh, for him. And when you listen to what he actually says and see what he's responsible for, Carmack, I mean, they put Carmack on this pedestal, but the more you listen to what they say, it becomes more and more obvious that he's the one that's responsible for them taking this direction towards standalone and accessibility and ease of use, lesser features. Just pick one thing and do it well instead of doing all of this cutting edge stuff. The very things that the PCVR community hates the new direction of Facebook for, it's all Carmack. Like he's the single biggest proponent that has pushed things in this direction. And I find it funny that there's kind of a disconnect there, and people haven't recognized this.
Yeah, well, I just my main thing is I don't want Carmack anywhere near AI because he's probably going to be setting Skynet up. At some point, some of the wisest, smartest people on the planet, I think, are going to be responsible for setting up some fucked up AI stuff coming down. And you know, I do wonder about AI getting out of control, and so I might feel
I think
better
we
if they
all
just had Carmack. It's locked in his office. You can only work on VR, no AI for you, Carmack. So
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I think we all share these common fears when it comes to this new technology. Um, I think that's why we need people like Carmack in there, people
oh
like
yeah.
Elon Musk, because while they're brilliant, I mean, somebody's going to develop the tech anyway. Like somebody's going to do it, whether it's done publicly and above the board, or if it's done privately under the undercover. Somebody's going to develop the tech. I feel more comfortable though having people that I know aren't evil, for lack of a better term, in there working on it. People that I think that if even if they're not able to stop it, I feel like people like Carmack or Musk would at least blow the whistle on it, like
Mm.
say, "Hey guys, we have a problem here." Um, so yeah, I kind of feel a little bit more assured having people like Carmack, Elon Musk, MC Hammer working on the AI. And I'm not just saying that; that's true.
I don't
But
know. Who doesn't want MC
yeah,
Hammer working on an AI? That and what you're saying is true. I never even really thought about that. Can you imagine like somebody evil being in on, like if Gaben decided to go into AI, we'd be fucked, man. That dude is evil.
yeah, yeah. He's putting the mind readers in the index headset as we speak.
Yeah. Spry Guy says you can't touch this. That's right.
That's right. That's exactly right. Um, anyway, Les Marwick has joined us in the chat, as has Onakazi. Bro, you're never late. You're always right on time.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we're still in the intro, bro. And Ray Delator's here. I think Ray said something a moment ago I found interesting, but I let it get away from me. So good on you, mate. Members in the house. Greg's VR is in the house. Corporate Zombie, Gamer Tag. What's up, friend? Um, Scott Merrill, which Scott said he had to leave. I think he was having internet issues. So, uh, what's up, Scott? I know you're watching this in the future on replay. So, what's up,
Yeah, what's
buddy?
up, bro? How was your Sunday?
Yeah, right. Spry Guy, Thomas McNostril. Hey, we haven't seen you for a while, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Diz the Game Cat in the house. We have a pretty good crew here. Lincoln Clay, Greg's VR. Quite a cast of characters showing up for the big show.
Yeah, all the best people. Only one I don't see there that I can think of is Gamer Chick, but I'm sure she's sliding in soon.
PD,
And PD.
Gamer Chick PD.
Actually, there's so many names. I say that, but there's always people that are
Right,
here all the time, right?
right. Well, didn't or was it last week? I know Tiffany had a birthday or something. She had to. That was last week though, wasn't it? She had
Mm.
like a somebody had in her family had a birthday.
Yeah, who doesn't have a birthday, these days?
Anyway, lots to talk about this week. Really quick off the top here, while I've got everyone's attention, I want to throw a quick programming note out there to the patrons. Traveling Man and friends there, if you're watching,
Today's the day.
we mentioned recently that we were considering doing the Money Show live. I think we're going to give it an attempt tonight. So, nothing's set in stone, but just keep an eye on the Discord, keep an eye on the Patreon page around 8ish p.m. Eastern time. That's 5 Pacific time. And Roots and I are going to try to get together tonight and do a money show. Now, what are we going to play? What are we going to talk about? Well, that is all TBD.
We don't even
But
know yet.
it'll be good as it always is.
This concerns you. It says Lipnox says he's a patron and this concerns him. It's concerning to me as well. I don't know what you're concerned about, but I'm concerned that it's going to be too good and that Wes are going to just nail this this money show. That's my concern. Actually, it's not even a concern. That's actually a good thing.
Yeah, I'm sure that you know, topic wise, we generally just kind of fall into whatever we want to talk about anyway. The real question here is what are we going to play? There's so many good co-op games that we could jump into. I'm sure it'll be something on PC most likely, as it's a bit difficult to stream Quest co-op. So that's going to kind of put the To the Top episode off for a little while. But we're going to get around to that one as well too. I'm not going to bail on To the Top. It's too fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And we still need to cover it anyway because they were gracious enough to give us a copy of the we did get a copy, right? The Quest version. I didn't buy it. No, I did buy that copy, huh?
We bought that.
That's not gracious. Damn it. We should have got a freak. No, actually, that's one of those games I don't mind buying. It's so good, right?
Yeah, I've bought that game I think 3 times now. 3 times over happily.
Okay. Lipnox clarified. He says it's a good concern. He's interested. Okay.
Right. Well, cool. So Lipnox, one of our more recent patrons. And if this is something that you're interested in doing to help support the channel, it is a big deal. Not only the Patreon support, but like the super chat support, all of this income that we've had over the last few months, we're spending it now. And I can't wait to reveal to you guys what we're doing with it. But it's going to be a real game changer, we believe, for our channel. So big thank you to the patrons. Big thanks to everyone who donates out there. But anyway, if this is something that you're interested in doing, there's a link in the description. $3 per month is all that we ask. And it gets you access to our weekly show notes. It gets you the occasional insider update from me when I've got some news I can share. I tend to do it. And then it gets you access to the money show, which is, we'll call it monthly. We don't go on a schedule, but generally once a month, we'll put out a special episode for the patrons. And it's certainly worth your $3 monthly, what we give back. I feel like it's good good times and good entertainment, especially now since we're going to be going live with the money show. That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. And we appreciate every single patron, and we appreciate everybody. Like, if you don't have money, some people don't have money, extra money. Um, just being here, just watching the show, you're doing the same thing that the patrons are doing. You're just not able to do the money part of it, and we don't care about that. Because everything goes back into the show anyway. So we appreciate
Yeah,
y'all for sure.
I'm thinking about, because some people avoid Patreon just because they don't want to set up a whole new thing with their bank account or whatever. I'm thinking about maybe trying to figure out a way to, because you can do channel memberships on YouTube.
Mm.
Uh, I'm thinking about maybe figuring out a way that we can set up the channel memberships on YouTube and give those members all the same stuff that the Patreons get, right?
That's a good idea.
So, what, 3, 4, $5 a month? Uh, YouTube takes a little bit bigger cut, I think. But you pay just a few dollars, and maybe we'll have like a dedicated Discord
Channel.
channel for channel members, whether they be from YouTube or Patreon, and that way we can share the show notes, share the updates, share the money shows with everyone who contributes.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I like that idea, and say we make it happen.
Uh, VR Spry Guy says, "Thanks, virtual strangers, for using the money to purchase the 3090." No, well, we haven't made quite that much yet. We've only been at this a few months, but I'd say that we're almost to the point now that we could have bought a 3070.
Yeah.
I think we're right in that ballpark with all included, everything together after YouTube and Patreon take their sizable chunk out of it. We're in the ballpark now that we could probably pick up a 3070 at retail, as if we could ever find
If you could
one.
find one, yeah. And Spry, I'll be sending you your tracking for the 3090. It's on its way.
Right, right, right.
You just gotta
It's in the
wait by
mail,
the
brother.
door, bro. Just gotta wait.
I'm gonna put up. I'm gonna put up all of our money that we've generated so far as a reward for the capture of the dead or alive of the downvoter.
I'd rather them be alive. You know, somebody, whoever it was after the last episode, they changed it. It's not there anymore. So they had a change of heart, but they're back in full force.
They're saying I look like I'm slow mo. Is that on your screen as well, Roots, or is
You
that just
had
something?
you had a internet hiccup for about 30 seconds or a minute where you were moving slow, but you're good now.
Okay, let me check before we get into the news. Let me make sure I'm on the right connection here, because I was playing around with it the other day. Yeah, everything's good. So, well, wait a minute. Maybe not. I might be on Wi-Fi. That might be why.
That make a big difference, right?
No, it's not Wi-Fi. It's the cable connection. Yeah, everything's good. I'd say someone's probably in there playing Roblox or something, screwing everything up.
Who doesn't want to play Roblox though? To be fair, and I saw you moving a little bit weird. I checked my signal; it was good, and so I just assumed your internet was having a chug fest because, like you said, you got so many people in your house using internet.
I thought it might be the City 17
It is
pulling me
actually.
in.
I think it was Spry Guy or some Spry Guy said that's where your background is where he had his first can crushing moment was, and
Yeah,
it felt good. He said so. Well worth the price of
yeah.
admission.
It's this was the first place that I ever wrote on a virtual dry erase board.
You know what's funny is when I played through it, I didn't even see that. You know what I mean? Like I saw videos of people messing with it. I'm like, holy shit, you could have done that. I didn't mess around with stuff enough. I wanted to get to the next scene. You know.
I spent like 15 minutes trying to draw the word subscribe in real pretty letters, and I ended up messing it up and saying the hell with it. Let's just play the game.
Oh, it would have been good, right? I was thinking about doing some. There was that movie, A Beautiful Mind. I almost went up there and started doing a bunch of really complex math things, but then I realized I don't know how to. So I don't have a beautiful mind, apparently, Wes. So,
2 plus 2 equals
well, we don't even know.
4.
We don't even know in 2021. It could be anything they say, you know?
Right. It's whatever it feels like,
Hmm.
man.
Yeah, whatever it identifies as.
Yeah. Right. The 4 identifies as a 5.
Yeah.
It doesn't believe in the. Never mind. I'm not going to get down. I'm not going to. I'm going to start. I want to offend some people if I don't shut
We
up. So,
probably did already.
uh, anyway, why don't we get into some VR news? Because if we are indeed going to successfully pull off a money show today, we need to get things rolling here.
Absolutely.
So let's talk. We were just talking about Facebook making moves, man, and they've been making moves for the last year or so. They picked up Ready at Dawn, they picked up Beat Games, Sanzaru Games, and now Roots Downpour Interactive. This past week, Facebook announced its fourth VR studio acquisition. This time, it's the studio behind the popular VR shooter Onward. Onward launched into Steam Early Access way back in 2016, but around a year ago, Onward launched on Oculus Quest, where it has become one of the headset's most popular titles. 8,900 reviews on that one, if I'm not mistaken, last I checked. Facebook announced the acquisition on the Oculus blog, saying that it is, quote, eager to support Dante and Downpour Interactive in growing Onward as one of the foremost multiplayer VR games. The company also promises that Onward will continue to be supported on all of its current platforms, including Steam. Facebook says that the entire Downpour Interactive team will join the team in some capacity, and that they have, quote, exciting plans for future Onward updates and future projects. Roots, what time is it?
Quote time.
It is quote time right off the bat. This is Downpour Interactive CEO Dante Buckley. And I quote, today is a very exciting day for Onward and the Downpour team. We are joining Oculus Studios at Facebook. I remember when I wrote the first line of code for Onward and walked around Cargo, one of the first maps in the game. Putting on a VR headset and building this dream game was a magical experience every day. From those early days to now, Onward and Downpour have grown and made huge strides in the VR industry. I can't thank my team enough for their hard work and dedication, as well as our passionate and dedicated player community. With us joining Oculus Studios at Facebook, we can now realize Onward's full vision with tremendous support and resources. This means a better game for all of our players on all platforms. There are no changes in the hierarchy or in the vision. Everyone at Downpour is still working hard to deliver you the best game possible. Thank you for all of your continued support, and stay tuned for future updates and content. So, again, Facebook making moves, Roots. This time a little bit differently. These other studios, the Ready at Dawns, the Sanzarus, these generally tend to be bigger studios. Now, Beat Games notwithstanding, I would say that Downpour Interactive is more like a Beat Games. Whenever I think Downpour Interactive, I think one dude. I think Dante, right? The Onward guy who makes Onward, and I'm sure he's got some guys that he's hired, some people that were freelancing to come in and work on the game. But this is one dude. They basically just bought Onward. So my question for you, Roots, is what does this mean for the likes of, say, Pavlov?
That's a good question. I don't know, man. I mean, they're two different types of games, but I'm just hoping that they somehow get rid of the douchebags in the Onward lobbies, because that's kind of what pushed me out away from that. Cyan has good points. Says maybe they'll work on improving the graphics in Onwards. And somebody said Lipnock says he's saying it right now. Skydance Interactive better not get bought by Facebook. And Spry Guy says he will disown Tiffany if that happens. So we got all sorts of stuff going on in the chat, and I agree with all of that, for sure.
I would consider it much more likely to for them to go to Sony, but that's a different conversation for a different day. I wouldn't think that they would be would sell to anybody. But then again, money talks, man. If somebody wants to buy them. Everybody, as Ted DiBiase once said, everybody's got a price, right?
Yeah, yeah, especially, I mean, and this is the thing, and depending on what kind of things that you have to sign when you sell it, why couldn't you start another company and do it again? You know what I mean? That's what a lot of these people do. Or they get kept on, and that would be the big thing, who would stay, who wouldn't. But I guess it sounds like from what you just read, with Onward, they're using everybody in some capacity, right? So, I don't know. It's kind of exciting to me to hear this news because I had kind of written Onward off a long time ago. It's just not my type of game. I don't like the community for the most part. But I love Escape from Tarkov. If they could put, which is similar to Onward in a sense, as far as you've got the you can kill your friends on your team and stuff. Is a lot more realistic. You got to be very careful. If they ever brought that into VR, I would love it. So I think Onward has potential for me to want to play it. It's just there's a lot of things that kind of pushed me out. I do own it, and Tech says screw Onward. It's not cross buy, so we know where his thoughts are on that for sure.
Yeah. Supposedly the co-op stuff and Onward kind of gets you out of the squeakers, right? The jerks that are in there. I, I really haven't been averse to playing it. It's just one of those games I never got around to playing, right? Uh, the online multiplayer stuff, shooters, competitive shooters never really was my thing anyway. But doesn't this have like some uh, campaign based co-op play,
I
like
believe it
you
does.
versus yeah,
I
like a story
I
campaign?
think it does, and I haven't played that. That would be something I'd be a little bit more interested in. And see
Hey,
that,
money show from Onward.
yeah, well, that'd be something that, especially if it's a good co-op, right? But that's the thing with, like you said, the squeakers aren't in there. But it's the hardcore. It's like the guy in Pop One that was so serious about it, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you're talking too much." And I'm like, "Well, I'm fucking streaming, bro." And like it was just all about you talking too much, you're talking too much, and like super serious. And that tends to be the typical Onward person, at least from when my experience was. You go in there, you're not going to get the squeaky douchebag. You're going to get the serious hardcore douchebag that is just going to think that they're the shit and whatever you're doing sucks. And I just didn't care for the community at all. And now, granted, that's been years, um, but it was such a bad experience for me that I just never went back. So I don't know
Yeah,
that.
you know, admiring Onward from a distance. Again, I haven't played it, but I do cover this, this gaming, VR gaming pretty closely. Not a lot gets by me, so I've watched as this game has grown, has become more and more polished, has expanded to other platforms, and I got to be honest, I've been quite impressed with what Mr. Buckley and his very small team have been able to accomplish here. You wouldn't know by looking at the footage of this game that it came from a small team. It looks like a much bigger project than what it actually is. So that's probably the most exciting part of this for me. Is we've all seen how much it's been able to do with a small amount of resources. What's he going to be able to do now with nearly unlimited resources? It's got to bode well, not only for Onward as it is today, but any kind of potential sequel or other title in the Onward universe. I got to imagine is going to be a big expansion, not only in terms of scope, but in terms of production value as well.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this, because Scion said something about hoping that they would increase the graphics, but if it's Facebook and they're gonna with Quest and stuff, I mean that completely goes against everything that anybody ever trashes Facebook would. Would they? Do you think that they would increase it? I mean, because the Quest One and Quest Two, you know,
It could mean that, and this is why. Generally, I mean, you can make some pretty good looking games on the Oculus Quest 2, but you have to put time into optimization. And as we're going to talk about here a little bit later with another title, there are different techniques that you can use to get some very good results in the Oculus Quest. Uh, but again, these types of optimizations take time. And when you talk about time in terms of game development, you're talking about money, right? You have to pay people, you have to hire people. If they put, hire a team of 50 dudes and put them just on optimizing and improving the graphical look of the game, I guarantee you in 6 months they can have a much better looking game. It just depends on what kind of value they feel like is in that investment. Are people going to buy the game? Are more people going to buy the game if they can polish it up like that? Only time will tell if they feel like this is something that they find worthwhile.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. Um, yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, my general excitement uh, when it comes to moves like this have more to do with things like future content, sequels, DLC, maybe new maps. I would imagine that there's probably going to be some new maps at the very least for Onward going forward, based on this now, based on this new money coming in. I mean, if you're a fan of Onward, I've got to imagine that you're probably pretty excited about this.
Yeah, this is definitely good news for the game and for players of Onward for sure. And hopefully, it'll become something, or maybe it has already become something that is completely different than my experience that I had in the past. Because not everybody's douchebags, and I guess I would assume if you went in with a group of friends, you don't have to deal with that. You know what I mean? But somebody made a good point. Lipnock said made a good point. I guess I didn't know this about Onward. He said that if you're when you're talking, the enemies can hear you. So like if you're talking, because everything's real. It's kind of that's why I love Escape from Tarkov because the sounds and everything. It's just more realistic. And so maybe they bring in some more, more of that. More sounding and more things being more realistic, even more than it is today. So
It's certainly a cool hook, and it's a nice little territory to occupy there. A lot of people, uh, when they come into VR, that's what they're looking for is a simulation. Always, right? No matter what they're playing, they want it to be realistic. So it's a nice little niche for them to carve out for themselves. The realistic battlefield simulator.
yeah, absolutely. And Ray Delator throwing a 10 spot. Appreciate that, Ray. Helping us get to the 3090 for VR Spry guy. I don't even know
He
what it is.
wants us to bring the downvoter to justice. That's
Oh,
what's
that's
up.
right. That's right. Okay, well, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring him to justice. We're gonna send. We could probably, I don't know, dog the bounty hunter. Maybe he's available. Send him out for looking for that guy.
Yeah, thanks, Ray, for the support. And yeah, I think we do Roots need to open up the Patreon benefits to everyone who contributes somehow. Maybe I mean obviously we'll still have to figure out some exclusives for the Patreon. But I think we could share instead of giving everything to Patreon and just thank yous to everyone else. I think we could spread the love around a little bit better than what we have thus far.
Yeah, we'll figure out a system that will benefit everybody, right?
Absolutely. That'll just be one of many coming changes to the channel in coming weeks.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see the changes.
Yep. Anyway, when we talk about an acquisition like this for Facebook of this specific type of game, they're hitting all the bases, right? They that with Ready at Dawn, they've got your esports covered. With Sanzaru, they've got your action adventure covered. With Beat Games, they have your rhythm game covered. And now with Onward, they have the multiplayer FPS covered, which is interesting because I'm wondering how the other titles are feeling. I wonder about your Pavlovs. I wonder about your contractors, your Zero Calibers, and Roots. I wonder about your Pop Ones. Pop One has been the baby, right? Even though it's on Steam, everyone kind of looks at this as an Oculus game. Oculus money went into developing it, and it's one of the most popular games on Quest, and a system seller for the Quest. So I find it interesting that they're picking up downpour as opposed to big box VR.
Yeah, I was thinking out the same thing. And then, but somebody, I think it was Ray Delator, said in the comments, I'm pretty sure it was him, but maybe it was somebody else, that not everybody can be bought. I mean, maybe big box, they went to big box and big box is like, dude, we're fucking killing it already. Why would we sell to you? We don't want to be a part of Facebook. You know what I mean? Even though they got money from them, not everybody wants to be a part of them. Uh, you know, so I can see it, but at the same time, I definitely, if they didn't try to pick them up, I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah, I know, right? But again, maybe Facebook understands the writing on the wall here, and they understand the big picture. And at the end of the day, Population One, as great as it is, it's a Fortnite clone, and they know that at any moment Sony could come out with the boom, the Fortnite VR, and it's over, right? It's over.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you could get, that's the thing is people love that it's like Fortnite, but if you could actually play Fortnite, um, there's things in this game that people that love Fortnite don't get. Like you can't just go around and shoot a bunch of stuff and gather material. The building's different. You know what I mean? It's not as fluent, and there's so much more building going on in say Fortnite than Pop One. And I don't know if you could actually. I mean, I guess you could bring it into. It just would be different. But yeah, I think it's good valid point for sure.
But that said, it's not a straight clone. Population One does continue to evolve and carve out its own little place in the larger gaming ecosphere. And a couple of weeks ago, we were all kind of surprised, right, when the next Pistol Whip DLC was revealed. I mean, we all knew that it would be something different, but I don't think any of us were expecting that it would be a Wild West themed Pistol Whip update. Well, this past week, season 2 of Population 1 was revealed, and apparently, Roots, there's a new sheriff in town.
Who doesn't like a sheriff in town, right?
Yeah. Season 2 drops in May, and it will also sport a Wild West theme. This past week, developer Big Box dropped a teaser for the game's next seasonal content drop on Twitter. The short clip for Season 2, The Frontier, suggests several new additions to the game. Firstly, Roots, there's a train, complete with a station on the which a player sporting a pair of cowboy boots steps. Some desert themed environmental decorations can be seen in the background too. And of course, we'd expect there to be new weapons to fit the theme and perhaps newly designed areas of the map as well. And you can probably expect plenty of new cosmetic items to dress up in. No specific date has been given for the launch of season 2 just yet, but we do know that it drops in May. So, Roots, it's funny, man, because as many of these common themes that we've developed in VR over time, we've had the zombie games, and now we're hitting the cyberpunk games. um Wild West has been kind of one of the ones that we really want, right? We want a Wild West adventure game, open world. We want, let's be honest, we want Red Dead VR pretty much. Um, but that's not what we're getting. What we're getting instead are these, these arcade style games, your Pop Ones, your Pistol Whips coming through with a fresh coat of Wild West paint. Um, what do you think about all this?
I don't know, man. I kind of agree with what Scion said in the chat. He says he hopes season 2 isn't a disappointment like season 1 was for him. You know, it just season 1 didn't seem like much was different, bro. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I'm kind of hoping that the season 2 really is going to change up the map and change some things outside of, opening up the bottom of the tower and having a couple of other things on there. I wasn't 100% like really thrilled with season 1. I think I've gone into it 2 or 3 times since it dropped. So I'm hoping for something different and maybe a little bit more than just some skins. And they needed, like, when they changed the map, like they'll say, "Whoa, we changed the map." They put one fucking fallen tower in there, dude. That's not changing the map. You know what I mean? That's not changing the map, dude. Like changing the map was putting in the hay maze. Changing the map, there's certain things you can do to really change a map or at least give it some kind of difference. There really wasn't that much difference to me. I mean, you could go in the tower and you could go get your cells and you could have a little fight in there, but I don't know, man. I was like Sion. I was a little disappointed, and I'm hoping they give us a little bit more with this next season. I'm shocked that it's so fast. I feel like season one just started. Now it's all the way season, but I don't know how often these things in normal like Fortnite. How often are they changing seasons in there as well? So
They come fairly quickly. Believe me, I know because when my kids were playing it, they would always want to buy those battle passes whenever the season would change over. Um, when up until this announcement, when I'm thinking of Population One Season Two, I've been fairly excited about it. But it isn't because of any of this kind of stuff. I want the private matches to come out of beta and be a permanent feature.
mm,
You know, fully customizable private matches. This is what I want from this game. And that was what I was expecting the big announcement to be with regards to season two. Now, can the Wild West thing be cool? Yeah, man. If they expand the map and have like a Westworld style Wild West area to the map that you can get to by catching a train that's always in motion. Can you imagine if there was a train that went right through the map, on a constant loop throughout this thing? How that would change the dynamic of the game if you could just pop a couple of people off downtown and then hop the train and, you know, and be in a completely different area of the map within a minute.
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I definitely think that would be cool. And I don't know. I was gonna say, but I agree with you in the sense that I was hoping for more. What was it you said that you were hoping? I totally spaced what I was gonna say. I had something that I was gonna say, but
No, I was talking about the private
oh,
the
that's what I was
private
gonna say. Yeah,
rooms.
no, see, this is the problem I have with the private rooms, and this is what I've said from the beginning, and what was my fear, and I see it happening in real time. Um, I've just noticed in this Oculus Quest 2 that I'm a moderator for, that there's when people talk about Pop One anymore, it's not the same conversations that were going on a month ago. People are constantly complaining about how long it takes to find a game, and just it's affect what you want is affecting the lobbies, and people are walking away from the game because they can't get games quick enough. And if they continue down this road, I guarantee you're going to find a mass exodus and empty lobbies big time. And maybe you'll have to go with your friends because you won't be able to find a game anymore. That's my fear. Once, and I've said this from the very beginning, once you get enough big enough game, a pool of people, it doesn't matter. And when it can sustain itself. But if you cannibalize that pool of players to try to, because everybody wants to go out and play with their friends, then the rest of the people are sitting there with their dick in their hand waiting for the game to start, and nobody's starting. You know what I mean? And they're not doing like you said, where maybe you go in and it starts after 8 or 10. I mean, you're waiting for 5-10 minutes or however long it makes you wait before it gets to the point where it finally says, okay, fuck it, you guys are going in with 7 people. It's too long. And so I'm hoping that they can somehow give you what you want, because it is something that I think it needs, without screwing everybody else that just wants to join and play with everybody else. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
there are things that they can do that they probably should have already done. Uh, you know, just a simple change like going to 2-man squads instead of 3-man squads would help the matches fill up quicker. And maybe we don't need 7 teams, right, or 8 or whatever it is. Maybe we can do 5 or 6. So, like, if you do 5 2-man squads, not only does the match feel a lot faster and get started, but now with 10 people, that map just got a whole lot bigger, didn't it? Because there's not people all over it. It kind of makes the game not seem so small anymore. And I feel like if they make changes like that, maybe slow down the boundary a little bit from coming in, which would extend the match time a little bit. I feel like they could tweak the rules in such a way to keep the core gameplay experience what it is, but eliminate a lot of these issues that people are having with regards to waiting.
Yeah, that's true. And Delirium Drew has a good point as well. He says the sweats are chasing people off also, and that is true. You know, if you go in there and you die, you die. The last thing you want to do, Wes. When I started this game, people would hot drop all the time. We would. You don't want to hot drop, bro, because the people that are sweaty are hot dropping, and they're going to chase you down and kill you, because they just want to kill you. And I guess that's, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It just, from somebody, if you're not as good as everybody else, it can get a little bit frustrating when, but that's any game, right? Like you go into, if I go into Fortnite right now, I'm going to get my ass handed to me by an 8-year-old. I guarantee it, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing in that game. And they do. So
Yeah, I think that probably has a lot to do with the wait times going up, or people are tired of getting owned. I think one thing that is a necessity, not only in this game but in all competitive multiplayer games, is uh, you have to have even matchmaking, right? You can't just throw everybody into the same pool. These guys that are getting one shot kills on the run, they need to be playing with one another. Uh, Matches need to be made on experience level,
yeah,
plain and simple. And
and they're clearly not. It's clearly not
right,
happening, and that's a probably the most valid point I've heard in a long time about this game is if you're throwing everybody that's that they're killed that they're I mean they have the statistics, they can match people by that, and it might not be perfect, but I guarantee it would be better than what's going on right now. Because
yeah,
when you go up against the sweatiest to the sweaties, and that is probably true, that I probably wouldn't go in and get my ass owned in Fortnite, because I guarantee it's set up to where I would be put in with a bunch of noobs as well, because I'm new. You know what I mean?
right,
So
right. By the way, shout out Drew. Drew giving away Roots a copy of one of the best games of the year on his channel right now. He's giving away a copy of Swarm, and there's a video I think went up yesterday or the day before on his channel. So check out Delirium Drew VR on YouTube if you want a chance to win a copy of Swarm yourself. It's a
yeah,
great game.
I'm a little salty, Wes, because I already own it. Oh, although I got it for free already, so I shouldn't be salty. That's a really good. Those are the two games that I keep telling everybody when asked what they should get for the Oculus Quest 2 our Facebook group is Swarm and Crashland. I I I I can tell people definitively those are two of the best games that are out for the Quest 2 in my opinion. And they're must owns for me because they're just that
Yeah.
good.
And multiplayer support confirmed coming to Swarm as well, so it's going to
Oh
just
my!
get better. Oh, by the way,
Wow.
I didn't even put it in the show today, but Swarm got a big update yesterday, like quality of life update.
Really? Wow. I didn't know
Hmm.
that. Actually, that game and the fact that you just told me there's a multiplayer coming. How? What the hell, dude? That's awesome, bro.
So yeah, let's do a really quick impromptu segment here, and I'll bring up this change log just so everybody can be on the level here with the changes that just hit Swarm. It's pretty cool. All right, so patch 1.02 has arrived. They have patched the Basilisk exploit. Well, we're not going to go through all of the different fixes and exploits, but they have added a phobia mode routes. It disables sharks and cloud falling in zone 3. So the people that are being scared to death by these things now can filter them out in the settings. Um, they've added an around me filter to the leaderboard so that now you, you can use the global filter to see the top of the leaderboard, around me to see a leaderboard centered on your high score. So you're number one or number five or whatever, and you can see who's close to you. Um, in boss levels, now it shows the time passed and the potential score on the scoreboard. You know, there's a scoreboard in the environment there, the drone scoreboard. Um, it now has what your potential score would be if you were to finish the match at that point. They've tweaked the grapple aim so it feels a little bit more accurate than it did before. Aiming should also now be easier when you're not looking at the target. So they've really honed in the grappling mechanics. Um, they've reduced some of the aliasing in the game and fixed some of the rendering issues. And there's a big long list of bug fixes that they've done as well.
Wow. Well, it's like this game couldn't have gotten any better. I would arguably say, and Radio Run says this best Quest 2 game of 2021. And in my mind, it's in the contention with Crashland and who else knows what comes out in this next year. But those two games, I guarantee, will be in the conversation for sure because they're just so good. But we still got to figure out how to get Crashland in there because it was never talked about because we didn't know it existed.
So apparently there was an exploit that allowed you to finish 2.5 in 5 seconds. So they've patched out that exploit and they've reset the 2.5 leaderboard. So anybody who thinks that they're on the top of 2.5, you might want to go replay it.
How could you have a high score in 5 seconds? You can kill
sure
shit.
There's a time bonus, right?
Yeah, but you would think that you'd get more from killing stuff than finishing fast, right?
I don't know, man.
That's weird.
You know who hates it when you finish fast?
My mom!
Oh God, well, and I don't blame her, man. There's nothing worse than not having somebody finish.
Also of
Alone.
note, they have reduced the difficulty of level 5-2. So apparently that one's a little too tough for people.
Oh, what a bummer! I never got there. I'm still on 4-1. I keep going back, Wes. I said this in previous episode, but I'll reiterate it again. I made the mistake, and I guess it's not a mistake, but I don't play on anything but extreme anymore. And so like I'm fighting all these other battles. That head thing, dude. Extreme is where it's at. It is crazy, but it's fun.
Yeah, I need to get back into this. I've let the VR, the game of the week pull me out of the games I was starting to stick to, and I miss it, Roots. I want to get back in Swarm.
Yeah. Well, you have access, just jump in there and go. It's one of those games that like when I'm ever thinking like I don't know what to play, this is an easy one for me to pick because I just always enjoy my game time. You know what I mean? It's just so good.
Yeah. Anyway, I mentioned that multiplayer confirmed to this, which is amazing. It's something that we are starved for in VR, and I think that's a big reason why so many of us are excited for After the Fall. The standalone version of After the Fall was finally confirmed during last week's Oculus Gaming Showcase. Not only is After the Fall coming to Quest as well as PCVR and PSVR, it's also confirmed to feature crossplay between all 3 versions of the game. Last week's trailer, however, showcased some huge hordes of enemies on the screen at one time, leaving some people, myself included, wondering if the Quest port's going to be able to keep up. It's a legitimate question, considering the fact that Oculus Quest 1 is not even as powerful as a low-end VR-ready gaming PC, or even a base PS4 for that matter. But following the Oculus showcase, Upload VR reached out to Vertigo Games for some clarification. And according to Vertigo Games, quote, the amount of enemies on all of the platforms is identical. This counts for all important gameplay elements. We apply lotting techniques on the rendering and animation, but also the code to have dynamic quality while still keeping the enemies in sync between the platforms. Lotting, more commonly known as level of detail, means that certain assets in the game can change in quality based on different factors like distance or performance. So while there will obviously be visual differences between the different versions of the game, it seems like the actual gameplay experience itself will be the same no matter where you're playing. After the fall, of course, arrives this summer on all major VR headsets. Roots, uh, it's taken them a while to develop this game. And now we're starting to see a little bit of why. Stuff like this lotting techniques being applied to the code and the various gameplay elements. Um, these are this is what we refer to all the time when we talk about how the developers finally starting to get a grip on what they can do inside these game engines. And I think that it's a massive undertaking to have a game that is it features cross-platform play between all the different platforms, and to have this actually run smoothly and one to one on all the platforms. I mean, that's a damn near impossible task. But apparently, the experts at Vertigo Games are up to it, and I think the fact that they're even claiming this is very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. That being said, I would cringe to play it on the Quest 1. You know what I mean?
It's going to be stick figures, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much going on. And I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, when I'm looking at this trailer, and Scion is going to love this comment, I want to play it on PCVR. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just what I want to have it just looks phenomenal, and it's going to be an amazing game. And I just tip my hats to Vertigo Games without even trying it. You can tell. I mean, it looks amazing, and hopefully, it's as good as it looks for sure.
Yeah, man. Um, when you think about Arizona Sunshine, and again, Arizona Sunshine, a very fun game. But when you put that game in your mind and then you look at some of the gameplay footage from this game, and you consider, you're bumping up from two-player multiplayer to four-player multiplayer, and now instead of having, the multiplayer be exclusive to each platform, now it's cross-platform, and you're going to have people playing on a 3080, playing with somebody on a PlayStation 4 Slim, playing with somebody on an Oculus Quest 1, playing with somebody on Oculus Quest 2, and they're all going to be playing at the same speed with these hordes of 30 and 40 and 50 zombies on the screen at once. I mean, when we talk about wizardry in game development, I feel like if this runs the way they're saying it's going to run, that this is an appropriate term here, wizardry.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you think about the Quest One with Arizona Sunshine and like the minimal assets and the amount of people walking around and how it didn't look as good as say on the PC VR, and as much as whatever, you would have thought, okay, it's obviously a limiting factor. You can't have the same amount of assets. You can't have the same amount of zombies coming at you. You can't have a horde of 40 zombies running at you at full speed. And Vertigo Games said, "Bullshit, we can't. We're gonna do it." And like you said, if it plays as well as they say it does, which I think it will, it's gonna be one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, this is uncharted territory when it comes to these quest ports. I mean, even the differences between Quest 2 and Quest 1 in, say, a game like The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, for example. The difference from PC to Quest 2 is noticeable. The difference from Quest 2 to Quest 1 is noticeable. And what you're noticing is a reduction in the number of assets from one to the other. Not only in the level of detail, but the number of assets overall. If you go play Saints and Sinners on Quest 1, you're going to see less zombies. You're going to see less items in general. The cabinets are going to be missing doors, things like this. It's just a necessary evil, or at least up until this point, we had thought it a necessary evil when it comes to these lower powered platforms. But apparently, Vertigo Games has found a way around it.
Yeah. Well, and is this? I mean, does it make you think differently? I mean, I don't think differently, but and I know this is going. Mash actually said this earlier to me in a conversation, and I agree. And it's going to piss off a lot of Quest One owners. But we need to cut the fucking dead weight, bro. cut you, and you guys upgrade to Quest 2. And because I mean, if you get that least common denominator out there, everything goes up a notch, right? And it's, even though it's only been out for a couple of years, it's already outdated. It serves its purpose. It's still an amazing headset, and it's still a way for people to get into VR. But we're reaching a point, and we may not be here. And Vertigo Games is showing us we're not there. But we're getting close to a point where all of our experiences get held back a little bit. And I don't want to be held back, Wes. I didn't buy the Quest 2 to be held back by the Quest 1. And I know that there's no way to have that not happen, and there has to be a time frame where that's going to happen, but I'm submitting we're already this quickly, we're already there because technology is moving so fast, and it's crazy.
Yeah, we are there, and apparently Facebook recognizes this as well because now we're starting to see Quest 2 exclusive games. And I got to imagine, that that means that it's, gloves off time. It's going to be up to developers whether or not they want to put forth the resources to support their games on Quest 1 because now they don't have to anymore. And I think not only is that going to lead to better releases for Quest 2, I think that it's also going to lead to better PC ports, like games that previously wouldn't have come to standalone now will because it's actually a doable proposition for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in a weird time, and we probably will hear it sooner than later, where they're just not supporting it. And that's one thing you can say about Facebook, Oculus. They really don't pull the punches. Like, I mean, Rift S is already dead. I think I owned that for a year before the announcement of them saying we're not supporting it or whatever. Maybe if it wasn't a year, it was not long, much longer. And that's just the way it is. And like I said, technology is moving so fast that I think we probably get used to it. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't expect this thing to have these standalones to have the longest life cycle as it is. So, I mean, when you consider the console lifespan of 6 to 7 years versus the standalone VR headset uh, life cycle of around 2 years, it's the cell phone model. So, like each 6 months is the equivalent of 2 years in console land. And yeah, so it's right about on time, right? That the old platform gets cut loose.
yeah,
Um, because I mean, a year down the road, we're all going to be talking about Quest 3.
exactly. And that was one of the things that I said to somebody about the new games coming out, like the Rockstar game, and them saying it would have to be on PC VR because it could never run on the Quest 2, which I don't believe that that's true. But when I think it's going to drop, I think Quest 3 will be out or almost out. You know what I mean? So at that point, now we're talking another level up. Now it's running great. So
Yeah, I think if Facebook had their druthers, that they would wait and keep Quest 2 in production for 3 years before they bring the next one. But I don't think the market's going to allow them to do that. I think the competition from Apple and Sony has already forced them to start preparing to launch next year when everyone else does.
well, and that's the reality, and a lot of people don't think about that. There's a lot of going into that whole conversation, and what your competitors are doing is a big thing, in what you decide to do. You may have a product that you were planning on bringing out next year, and you find out your competitors bringing it out in 6 months. Well, guess what? Now you're going to bring it out in 4 months, or whatever, so you can get that advantage ahead of them, and it's just the way it works.
Indeed. Anyway, I think After the Fall looks amazing. I think that it's incredible that the experience for the standalone players is going to be, largely the same experience as everyone else, graphics notwithstanding. And I can't think of another game that I'm as anticipating as quite as highly as this game. I think this is the number one on my list right now.
Yeah, dude, it's zombies, it's multiplayer, it's four people. I mean, it's everything that I've wanted. out of VR, and it looks like one of the most AAA games I've seen in a long time. It just looks phenomenal. And
It's going to be over in 3 hours.
is that how long it is? 3 hours? 3 hour game?
No, I don't
Okay.
know, man. I'm just joking.
Well, it's just one more step towards the type of games that we've been waiting for, and we're right here because this is it. This is the game I'm waiting for.
Yep. You know, play with roots.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Four people,
You know
man.
who
We're gonna.
loves to play with roots?
Oh God.
My
Oh
mom!
wow. I didn't. I was hoping that didn't come out, man.
Anyway, speaking of multiplayer roots, you know, we often talked about doing a money show from Real VR Fishing, and we picked it up. You know, paid for it just so that we could cover it in a money show together. Because let's be honest, this is a beautiful game. It's one of the most photo real games in all of VR, PC included. Real VR Fishing is incredible, and the gameplay is fun. But you know what, Roots? I'm glad we waited. So glad we waited to get into this one because Real VR Fishing just gave a sneak peek at what's to come in future updates, including the reworking of some core mechanics and a glimpse of a new DLC pack. The next update will rework the fishing mechanics using three new features to make fishing more realistic, including depth of water, float fishing, and more realistic lure fishing, including twitching movements. Uh, Roots, you know, this game has always been a contradiction with itself because visually and structure wise, this seems walking in like it's going to be a fishing sim, like a simulation. But when you get into the game, you actually realize that despite the structure of the game itself, the actual fishing gameplay is just arcade style. It's not. I mean, it's got some similarities to real fishing, but it's not. It's an arcade fishing game. That's all about to change, Roots, because now they're going to be updating the game and incorporating simulation style uh, fishing into the mechanics. And this is what I've always wanted. It's really the only thing this game has lacked is the fishing mechanics were never quite as good as they should have been. Now you're going to be able to float fish just like you would on any lake, or you're going to be able to pick your lure. Which, by the way, you go to the store, you buy this whole big thing of tackle, but up until now, the tackle hasn't worked the way it would in real life. So it's just kind of a cosmetic thing. But now these lures are going to work like they work in real life, and how you handle your rod and reel is going to determine your success at catching these fish. This is the one thing that this game really needed. It was the only thing that this game really needed, and I'm so excited that this is the direction that they're decided to take with this game.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Wolveraza says it's so it's unreal how much fun it is to just upgrade your stuff. And then Lipnox nails it right here. Says you can watch virtual strangers while watching the podcast live and fish at the same time. If that doesn't sell it, he doesn't know what will. So I agree, man. Who doesn't want to watch virtual strangers while you're fishing? You know, an interesting tidbit about this game, Wes. I still have not stepped foot into it. I mean, Wes and I are different, two different types of people. When we talked about going into the experience and doing the money show, Wes immediately went in to get some bearing because we're going to be doing a show and I need to know how to do this. Roots, I like to go in there and I like to just fucking wing it because I like the experience of it fresh. And sometimes that it turns into ridiculousness of Roots not being able to grab stuff off the ground or whatever it is. But that's just the way I play. So I still have yet to step foot into it. So when I do, I believe it'll be when we do a money show on it. It can't be that hard, right? You go in and you just fish.
Well, yeah, you want to make a certain amount of progress in the game because it dramatically changes your the game itself. Like which I mean, I guess we don't have to be on the same level in the game, but when you're playing at a beginner level, you can see all the fish under the water. It's really the first uh, 5 or 6 experience level is all training. After you get to a certain point, you change your difficulty level in the game, and what it does basically is it makes those fish disappear, so you can't magically see them glowing on the lake.
Hmm.
And now you have to look for tails like you would in real life, like the water splashing over here. You know what I mean? Or maybe you can see one under the water over there. It makes it a more realistic experience having leveled up 5 or 6 times. That was basically my whole reason
Hmm.
for putting the time I did into it.
Well, you just like to be prepared, which is very diligent. Um, and Scion VR says he can't wait to handle his rod in a realistic way. And you know who else likes to handle Scion's VR's rod in a realistic way?
My mom!
Hmm. Oh yeah, she does. Yeah, so it's definitely something I want to get into, Wes. We need to do a money show on this, man.
Yeah, I agree, but we need to wait until this update comes out
Yeah.
because it's going to be a deal changer. And Tris in the chat says that I refunded this because of the arcade aspect of it, but I may have to take another look when this update comes out.
Yeah, the traveling
Yeah.
man. This is a must-have. Favorite location is number 14. So now I'm going to remember that. I got to go and check out number 14. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, man, this game is beautiful just to hang out in, even if you don't even play. Like to just chill on the riverbank in this game or in the boat is cool because it's so realistic looking. And all of the scenes that they have in the game, the levels, they've all been captured with special cameras in Korea, but you wouldn't know you were in Korea from looking around. It looks like Kentucky, like
Mm.
these scenes that they've captured. Um, it very much feels like fishing in real life.
That's funny. That's what's so weird about the world, right? And we get so used to where we're living. But Google Earth opened my eyes to that when you like transport yourself to a different country in Russia and you're on a countryside and you're like, wow, this could be Colorado. You know what I mean? It looks, it's just different location. So
Right. Yeah, just different cultures, but the it's all very much the same stuff when no matter where you're at.
yep.
There's also plans for DLC to be released as well. The Western US DLC. Originally, the plan was to release one big United States DLC pack with new environments set across the United States. But instead, the DLC has been split up, with the Western US component launching first. This pack will feature 20 new environments as well as new species of fish to go with them. So it's geographically correct, right? You're not only getting the scenery that comes with the DLC pack, but the new species of fish that live in these different places. It's pretty cool.
Makes
Um,
makes you wonder how many they were going to add, like overall. Like, were they going to add 20 across the United States, and now they're doing 20 in just one section? Because to me, it could be one of two things. Either they were going to put out the same amount regardless, and they can make more money by parsing it out, or maybe they're just going to give us more by doing multiple DLCs. So
I think it's probably most likely the latter. I think that the they probably went and captured X amount of locations, and they realized that there's some beautiful places here in the United States, and that they weren't going to be quite tossing away quite as many of them as they thought that they initially would be. Right? They probably went in and shot 100 places coast to coast and thinking that they were going to throw away half of them or more based on quality and realize that they're all quality or most of them are quality. So why not just split it into multiple packs?
yeah, that's true. Well, either way, even 20 locations, that's a lot to me. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
awesome because you can spend hours in any one of them. The only thing that really held you back again was the arcade gameplay getting repetitive. But if you get your experience level up to the point where you can't magically see the fish glowing in the water, and you have to use realistic fishing technique to actually catch the fish, have the right lure at the right time of day, using the right action in order to get a certain kind of fish to bite. I mean, if it's detailed on that level, you could spend all day in any one location. And to have 20 new ones, I mean, it's like having a whole new game.
Yeah, absolutely. So cool. I can't wait to check this out when it
Same
drops.
here. Anyway, the free update as well as the Western US DLC both planned for release sometime before the end of the year. So coming soon, Roots.
Yeah, so I got quite a while to. Maybe I should at least get the fish to stop glowing. Wes
Yeah.
stressed it a couple times, and now I feel inadequate. Like I need to get rid of that crap.
Well, it's a completely different game. Having having played it just an hour, it becomes a very different game. Now, you do have to physically turn that stuff off by changing the difficulty level of the game, but it's not something that you want to just go in immediately and turn it off. You'd be lost if you do that.
I got you. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, Traveling Man, 3775. If you go up to the glass of the aquarium, then go to the back of your play space and recenter, then walk forward, you can be in the aquarium with the fish all around you. Yeah, I've noticed that you can manipulate things a little bit by recentering yourself in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this game keeps a giant. You have like a home area that you can chill out in, and you keep a giant aquarium, and inside the aquarium is every species of fish that you've caught in the game.
Oh, cool.
So when you find a new fish in game, when you go home, it'll be in your aquarium, and they're very realistic looking. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it sounds really cool actually.
Yeah. I mean, a gigantic aquarium too, like a Sea World,
Well, it's
like a
got to be
big
right if it
aquarium.
has all these different fish. Who knows how many fish are out there? It sounds like they're adding them, right? So it'd be cool if you
Yeah,
could go in like as a scuba diver and feed them or something. Clean the
Scion
tank.
says that the game is just a fetch quest,
Fetching
fetching
fish.
fish.
Well,
Yeah.
see, and it's true. This is the thing, though, Cyan, and I know it's partially a joke. What I'm seeing here from like Wolveraza and everybody else, it's like a really nice, chill, relaxing game where you're just hanging out. Especially, I've talked to some people that have hung out with family members or their dad fishing and stuff, and they said it was really cool. So I think it's a really good chill game. It may not be action packed for some people if they're not into fishing. Then I guess you'd be like, dude, just like somebody that isn't into pinball would be, it's just pinball. I guarantee somebody's gonna say, it's just fishing, dude. Um, but it is what it is. It's fishing. If you enjoy fishing or in beautiful environments, I bet it's amazing.
Well, I happen to know our friends at Rendered Reality are a big fan of this game as well, and a lot of people are. I mean, it's a really good game. Really, the only thing that it lacked was the realistic mechanics, and now it's getting that. So, uh,
And that wouldn't have
I
been
mean,
so much of a problem if it was called simulation fishing VR. But when it's called real fishing VR, you kind of need the mechanics to be real, right? I think anyway.
right, right, and it's not that there's not room for an arcade style fishing game. I mean, there's one on PSVR that's really popular. What's it called now? I'm having a brain fart just because I'm trying to think of it. Catch and release, is that what's called?
Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's always a place for arcade style games, but this game kind of sells itself as a simulation just by the title, by the look of it, by the structure of the game. Everything's sim except for the actual gameplay.
Yeah,
So now it's nice to see the gameplay catching up with everything else.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just coming through. Yeah, it is catch and release. So yeah, people really like that game. I've never played that one.
Yeah, I've never played any fishing game in VR. I don't believe so. This will be a first for me.
Oh, dude, it's fun. It's relaxing. You know, we might actually have to drink some beers
Yeah.
while we play this one.
Well, that's one of the things that people love to do is like just have a couple beers or like Wolverazo was saying, get totally blazed, something to help you chill, right?
Yep, that's what fishing's all about,
Yep.
my friend. Anyway, let's move on. We have a couple more items to talk about before we get into our reminders. Um, One of the things being Loco Dojo. This past week, VR development studio Make Real announced Loco Dojo Unleashed, an Oculus Quest edition of their crazy collection of VR minigames due to arrive later this year. Just like before, Loco Dojo Unleashed will use the same 16 comedic minigames, such as swatting bats with nunchuck hot dogs, milking pigs with baby pigs, and flinging cats around. Make Real hasn't simply ported the original Loco Dojo over, however, refining the experience to reduce gameplay friction while adding new features. These additions include a new quick play mode to easily find games in multiplayer, whilst the tournament mode for 2 to 4 players will provide an even greater challenge. For those times where nobody is about or you just want to practice, a single player mode will be available with the added bonus of trophies to unlock. What time is it? Roots.
Quote time.
Quote time. Sam Watts, Immersive Partnerships Director at Make Real. And I quote, following on from the success of the game on PC VR and in location based VR arcades, we have listened to feedback to include a number of enhancements for Oculus Quest players. For launch, we want to make sure that it is as easy as possible to pick up and play and get in the games. We've removed elements that slow gameplay down and added those that improve players' understanding of how to master within the dojo. We've spent considerable effort buffing the wood to provide the same polished world and hectic gameplay that the title is known for. Loco Dojo Unleashed will arrive at some point later in 2021. Now, Roots, this is a game that's always kind of flown under my radar, and I never really gave it a second look, just based on the cartooniness of it, the outlandishness going on with if you actually pay attention to what they're doing in these clips. I really never gave this game a second look. But then recently on Discord, uh, I made a new friend, and it's a new somebody who actually came and joined our community. Another YouTuber who his channel is called VR Central, and upon talking to this dude a little bit, he invited me to come to his community and participate in a tournament. He didn't specify what the tournament was going to be. He just said, we're having a tournament this weekend. You should come over and play. So I go to a dude's channel and I start looking around, and there's all these Onward videos and, competitive, FPS stuff. And immediately I'm thinking, man, I've never played Onward. I'd have no business playing with these dudes. I'm just going to go embarrass myself. So I tell the dude, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Competitive FPS is really not my scene. But you should go to my, go to my Discord and ask some people to join. I'm sure we'd have some guys in there that would fit right into your tournament and maybe win it. And he says to me, "Oh no, it's not competitive FPS. We're doing Loco Dojo."
Mhm.
And that's when I took a second look at this game, and Roots, this thing looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I didn't even know too much about it, except for the name of it. Until recently, I got a random invite from Skiva one day for Loco Dojo, and I was like, I messaged him because I wasn't able to play, but I was like, never heard of it. Any good? He said, oh, it's like Mario Party, right? And that's where I peaked. I love Mario Party. I think it's one of the coolest. I played a lot of it growing up with my kids, right? So it's like got a special place in my heart. So being able to play a similar type of game in VR, I just think it's really cool. And I guess it's kind of cool that this you said this is a different, unique version of it, or as somebody in the chat said, a good way of saying not cross buy. So it's not it's going to be different than the PC VR version, correct?
Yeah, well, the good thing about that is if you're really concerned about playing it on PC VR, this is a Viveport Infinity title.
Ooh, oh, I can play it for free, huh? Well, I'll tell you what, dude, I'm
Absolutely.
I'm peaked. I want to play the Quest version, and I'll play the free version as well.
Yeah, the Quest version, while it does have all of the same activities and mini games in it, it's been streamlined to reduce friction, much like the Quest itself, right? That's kind of their thing, friction-free VR gaming. Apparently, that's the big differences, or one of the big differences with the Loco Dojo Unleashed.
Well, Diz says with the 2.99 donation, which we appreciate, Loco Dojo is an absolute hoot every time he plays it, and it's definitely cool.
Yeah, thanks for the support, Diz. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
And Drew says I got it on sale in the Rift store for like $5, I think, a while back.
that's not too bad. $5 is a good deal.
Yeah. So I don't know how much this thing's going to cost. So I got to imagine it probably costs a little bit more on Quest. Things generally do.
I'd say 20 bucks is probably about the right price, is what it seems like it'll be, but without even playing it.
Yeah. But what the game looks like to me is if that game half and half were a demo, this would be the full game.
Lipnock says, "What Loco Dojo's in Vive Infinity? He's got to go later." And he says he's just kidding. He's still here. But that's how much he wants to go play it. So that's good. I definitely will be checking this out myself. And another reason for you guys to get Viveport Infinity. I don't know why, if you don't have it already, what's wrong with you? I question your soul.
Yeah, if you don't have Viveport Infinity now, you probably will by the time we get done with free stuff and killer deals.
Yeah, that's true.
3 new titles, I think there was this week, Roots.
That's crazy. Diz says, yeah, it's $20 normally. So yeah, I would imagine it looks like a $20 game.
Yep.
I think it'll sell well at $20 as well.
Looks nice and polished and wacky. Loco. Looks loco, bro.
It looks like it's I mean, on the Quest, it's gonna blow up, dude. And like with all the kids and all the, you know what I mean, parents playing with kids, and I just think it's gonna do very well.
Yeah, that's true. What did I say? A 2 to 4 player multiplayer?
Yeah, 4 players, and that's one of the things that Drew says that he wishes it was 6 players. I don't know why 6 is the your magic number, Drew, but I agree. More people is definitely more fun.
Well, yeah, definitely looking forward to trying this one out at some point. Again, that was completely off of my radar until our new friend, the wise director, uh, pointed us in the direction of it, and I actually gave it a real look.
Awesome.
This is the Game Cat says, after signing up for Viveport, I question everyone's soul that hasn't.
Yeah, I question your soul. It's just such a good deal, man. And there's so many good games, and especially if you have a limited library, you go from 0 to hero, bro, in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, you'll never run out of shit to play if you got that subscription. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, one more title before we get to our weekly reminders. A pretty cool looking one, Roots. A new title from ForeVR Games popped up in the coming soon section of the Oculus Quest store this week. ForeVR Bowl is a new bowling game that features multiplayer support for up to 4 players. Unlike premium VR bowling before it, ForeVR Bowl, that's hard to say, man. ForeVR Forever Bowl
That's what I always say.
appears to be more of an arcade style experience than a simulation. There are 6 environments that can range from a traditional bowling alley to outer space. There are over 75 balls to unlock, some of which hold galaxies inside of them, whilst others resemble bombs. There's also a single player mode that pits you against NPCs, and the developer has coined the term real feel throw for its throwing mechanic. We don't have a solid release date yet, but Quest games usually pop up in the store when they're a few weeks out from release. So, Roots, here we are, a new bowling game. This one, not so much a simulation as the other one, but as we were saying just a moment ago, I like a good arcade game, and especially when you're talking about something like bowling and multiplayer, this could really end up to be a lot of fun.
I think that's the key is the multiplayer, being able to have four of your friends or three of your friends there, hanging out, chilling, BSing, whatever, giving each other a hard time. I think it looks like it'll be very good. And I do want to call a little bit of fake news on this trailer right off the bat. Like, look at that guy, dude. Why in the hell is he still using the OG strap? Nobody's using the OG strap. We know he's hiding his elite strap somewhere behind. Every time I see that, I think.
Well, he had one. It broke. He had to put
That's
the
right.
old
It
one back
broke,
on.
and he's like he had to go back to the original. I just think that there was no way I was gonna stay. You could use it original. I just don't think many people are.
Nah, dude, it sucks. I mean, it's serviceable. It's usable if it's all that you have. Um, but man, when you get used to having the new one and then try to go back to that, it's not good. Like, I've got the second headset here now, and the second headset has the generic, the included strap with it, and
That's the
you
wife's
know,
the wife's version.
yeah. Well, if I have to, like, if I run out of battery, I can switch back to it and use it. But you're constantly fiddling with it, right? The whole time you're playing, you'll play for 5 or 10 minutes and then adjust it, tighten it down, adjust it a little more, play a little bit more, stop, adjust the strap, and it's immersion breaking.
Man,
Uh, I mean, it'll get you through in a pinch, but it's not something that you want to uh, use every day.
it absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Traveling Man says it releases on May 28th, according to the page, so we're not too far away. And that being said, Roots has to use the restroom a little bit. I'll be right back.
Sure. Diz the Game Cat, like Wii bowling mechanics, finally. Yeah, dude. Like this I mean, it's interesting that you say that. This looks kind of like a Nintendo game, right? It looks like something that you would expect to see like on Switch or something, or like you said, Wii even. Um Fun with a friend. Like if this were a single player game, it would be a bit sus, but the the uh the fact that you're going to be in here with your crew, I mean, this just looks like a good time. Hopefully, there's a bit of freedom in the lobby, like you're not like node based or whatever, from your chair to the lane or whatever. But as long as there's a little bit of freedom in your little area here for you to hang out, um, and the different mechanics on these different balls uh, are as creative as they appear to be. I mean, I think that this is going to be an absolute blast and one that I'm really looking forward to checking out. Technoglitch says this is a good game to use the old Vive controllers on, unless you want to buy a new one of whatever you own. Yeah, I've never used a Vive one. The things look really awkward to me, and I can't get over the lack of a thumbstick and then a touchpad in its place. I mean, that's kind of a deal breaker for me.
Remote control. That's what I don't want to hold a remote control. I want to hold a controller. And that's the thing. That's joysticks, bro. Like joysticks, I've had them my whole life. I'm 46 years old. I've been using joysticks for 40 of them or more. And now you want me to go to some trackpad. Makes no sense to me. I agree 100%. And also, I just realized, Wes, water is heavier than coffee. I drink coffee all day long on this show. I just start drinking bottles of water, and I can't. I gotta go to the bathroom. It's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
yeah, that water will hit you
Yeah.
quickly. That's the Gatorade does me the same way. VR Spry Guy says I still haven't got premium bowling on Steam. I haven't either, and I've been thinking about picking it up on Quest, but that's still one that I never pulled the trigger on. It came down to that or the 11 table tennis, and I went with the table tennis first. So, premium bowling was pretty high toward the top of my list, but now I don't know, man. Forever Bowling looks pretty cool, and I don't know. I think I'm going to try to review this game if the developer would like some help with promotion because I
Absolutely.
think it looks fun.
I think the bowling balls having something in them is really cool. Like, I think especially in VR, it may not be, if you're looking for a sim, obviously you're not going to look in real life down and see a galaxy in a bowling ball. But I also submit, this is what I love about VR, Wes, is I can experience things I can never experience in real life. I've never gone to a bowling alley and looked down and saw a aquarium in the middle of my bowling ball. I think that's kind of cool. So I definitely would love to play this game as well.
Yeah, man. And I got to imagine that the mechanics and physics of each ball is going to be different depending on which one you grab. And it makes me curious. I mean, do you have to take what ball that comes to you, or is there a selection? Or
There's got to
I
be a
don't know.
selection because, one of those things that, like when you go real bowling, first thing, depending on if you come with your own ball or not, first thing you do is you go find a ball. So I would imagine they probably have like a menu, a selection of balls you've unlocked, and you're able to pick which one you want to use for that particular thing, which is kind of cool, right? And it would also, I guess you wouldn't be able to grab somebody else's ball, right? Because it's not your turn, I would imagine. Uh, so I don't know how it all is going to work, but
You can say you're not able to grab other people's balls, but you know who's going to try anyway?
My mom.
she better at least try once.
Wolveraza said, "My kid needs to talk. I'll have to watch later." Hey, bro, I know how it is. Go take care of your business. The show will be here at your leisure.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
absolutely.
have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Yep.
Anyway, I think it's going to wrap up our news for the week, Roots, and bring us into our weekly reminders segment. And for like the fifth or sixth week in a row, Roots, we have titles out this week. And that's where we're going to pick up with our reminders. First of all, Roots, this is an interesting one to me. Quality title Flow Weaver is coming to Steam VR this week. Uh, this, of course, is the uh, surreal dimension hopping puzzler from Stitch Media that we reviewed last month. It was a really good game, and I really enjoyed it quite a lot. But this is the interesting thing to me, Roots. This is coming to Steam VR off of a brief exclusivity period on the Oculus store, right? The thing is, if as of yesterday, reading the Steam VR page, it only supports Oculus Rift on the Steam page. So I don't quite understand what they're doing here.
I don't know, man. I'm so baffled. Baffled me last show when people don't do support for certain controllers. I mean, there's a couple people that have indexes in Vives and Vive Pros and G2s and other things besides the Oculus. You said the Rift, right? You didn't even say Quest 2, right?
Well, I mean,
I'm
we all
assuming.
kind of assume that
I
Link
guess.
is
Yeah, I guess they consider that the same thing. That's weird to me, man. What's the point? I mean,
well, we would need to ask Oculus because, by the way, when I say I don't know what they're doing, I'm not talking about Stitch Media. I'm talking about Oculus because Oculus is the publisher of this game. Stitch Media is the developer. Oculus is publishing it, and if you go onto the Steam VR or the Steam page for Flow Weaver, you'll see Oculus listed as the publisher.
hmm.
So I don't know what Oculus is thinking. Maybe they're thinking that they could sell this title to people who don't want to buy it from their ecosystem for whatever reason. Maybe people have privacy concerns. I'm
They're
not.
family
Maybe people
family
family
share.
sharing.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
reasons to use Steam over Oculus. So I guess there is a place for it, but why would you not just like you're eliminating all those and to be fair, for all we know, it works on all those controllers. That's another thing that drives me crazy. Is like sometimes it says it only supports whatever and it works on everything. Well, why not research it and then put it in your thing and then everybody knows what it can play on? I don't know. I like money, Wes, so I would assume that um, people that sell games like money as well, and setting things up to maximize the amount of people buying your game is always good when it comes to selling things. So
Yeah, and it could just be that their Steam page hasn't been updated yet. Like they started it at the time that it only supported Rift, but Now it's going to support another headset like Vive or Index or something. I don't know, man. I think you're setting yourself up for failure when you do something like this, because generally what happens when people go to Steam VR and only support Rift, they get a bunch of negative reviews, even if it's a great game, which is something that you don't want. You don't want people to buy this under the impression that they're going to be able to play it on their Index and then have to refund it, and then you get a negative review out of it.
I don't know enough about the industry, and I guess someone like Tiffany or a developer could probably fill me in on what it takes. Like, is it that difficult to make sure your game works on multiple controller schematics, or at least game test it or whatever? It's just to me, it seems like such a easy fix. It's like these developers that will put out a game with the intention to patch it. Why not fix the things first if you can? I mean, I know sometimes things come up and you can't do that, but it just seems like a lot of developers are lazy and they'll just throw it out there with the intention we'll fix it. Well, you just screwed about 20% of your sales. Who knows how much it affects it? So that's just crazy to me.
Yeah, me as well. Speaking of our friend Tiffany too, just think, we're only a couple weeks away now from the Saints and Sinners Aftershocks DLC. I
Ooh,
mean, it's like what? It's less than 2 weeks now before we get that thing.
yeah, I can't wait. More,
I can't
I've
wait,
wanted
man.
more story since I beat it. Well, I didn't technically beat it. I did. I need to tell you what I did, Wes, one time, because I did something that I just wasn't proud of, and it just turned out horribly, and I had to stop right there and say I'm going to redo it, and I never went back.
We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll get into some details and stuff after the Aftershocks comes out, and we're talking about that,
Yeah,
because we're going to assume that anybody who watches that is up to date on the story, because again, this is post the events of the original campaign. So anybody who is privy to the Aftershocks is going to get spoiler content by default. It's just because that's what it is.
yeah, that's true.
But other than Flow Weaver this week, we also have Demio coming out on May 6th, coming to us from Resolution Games to Oculus Quest and Steam VR. The Rift version uh, is said to be launching a couple weeks later.
Oh,
So,
okay,
yeah. Yeah.
cool.
So much like Star Wars Pinball VR this past week, Demio, very much the same situation where you can get it on Oculus Quest or you can get it on Steam VR.
This game looks amazing.
It does, man. And the more I see of it, the more details that I notice, and it looks like a big step up in terms of scope from anything that Resolution Games has ever done before. And these guys keep raising the bar. And I told them this the other day when I wrote them an email. And man, when you think about how far these guys have come from the initial release of the Angry Birds Isle of Pigs with the four levels that were kind of bare bones, and the gameplay that was just kind of all right. uh, they've gone from that to turning that game around, to Akron, to Blast On, and now this. They just keep raising the bar on the scope of their games, and they're achieving a lot of success since the advent of the Oculus Quest, and judging by the looks of it, it's well deserved.
Yeah. Well, what looks cool to me of this is if you noticed, like when the dude threw the dice, one of the other players' face mask was down in the board. Like you can zoom it up and get down in the up in your grill. Like it's just different ways you can look at it. Looks like, which is really intriguing to me because I don't necessarily want to stand outside the table. I might want to zoom in and be up close, looking at that stuff a lot closer. It just looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to be able to get down in on it like kind of like Mini Motor Racing X, right? Where you can just kind of get right down into thing.
Yeah, yeah. Just zoom in. That's cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome, and thankfully, we've been anticipating this for some time. Only what, 4 more days now to till we can finally talk about this one. So
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. Our hands are tied right now, but I'm itching.
The Wizard's Dark Times from Carbon Studio coming to Oculus Quest on the very same day. And it's interesting, Roots. This one kind of just drops from out of nowhere. And while the gameplay is a very different style of game, it's very similar thematically to the Demio, right? They're both kind of have this dungeon crawler aesthetic going on, and I feel like these games are both going to kind of appeal to the same crowd,
Yeah.
and it's an interesting decision to have them drop on the very same day. I would have liked to have seen the Wizards drop last week.
Right. A little bit earlier. Yeah. Especially when there's not as much going out. Although it is a little bit different as far as like, cause I kind of feel like with Demio, you're, you're kind of controlling the players and everything's kind of out of your hand. Where here is like, you're literally, everything is in your hands. You know, uh, somebody just told me this too. This is on Viveport Infinity, I believe, and they
Yep.
were excited to check it out. And I had gone back in and played a little bit of this as well, and I couldn't. I'd forgotten how good the gameplay is, Wes. It's just so cool to turn your hand and do a certain thing and just have a fireball pop up in your hand, right? Or take your thing and pull it forward and have your shield or that ice shard do the bow, you know. It's super cool mechanics. One of the I just forgot how good this game is, Wes, and now I want to go back in and play it again.
Yeah, it's the best example that we have of gesture-based gameplay in VR, period. This is the gold standard with regards to gesture-based gameplay. And it's interesting now coming to Oculus Quest, it makes you wonder, are they going to incorporate the hand tracking at some point? Because I don't know how accurate and detailed the Oculus hand tracking SDK is, but if it can handle if it's good enough to handle all these different gestures and read it accurately, I mean, you're talking about another level of immersion now in this game, right?
It would be cool, but I think I don't know. The only thing I would be torn about, and I don't remember, even though I just played it recently, I don't remember the haptics and what it felt. That's my own, and I say that every time when it comes to hand tracking. I don't know if the haptics would be missed or something, but I think it would definitely add a different level of immersion on a different end that might even supersede those haptics, right? So
Yeah, it'd be a cool option, something cool to try.
yeah, absolutely, and especially if it's done very well, because everything is gesture based. So
Yep, absolutely. Anyway, coming to the Oculus Quest store on May 6th, just like Demio. So plenty of good choices this week. Flow Weaver, Demio, the Wizards, uh, you know, quality stuff.
yep,
So can't go wrong with any of those.
absolutely.
Um, that brings us to our next reminder, and this is the part of the show where we ask all of you to please join us in doing our part to support these awesome game developers by taking just a moment with us in real time as we go and wish list one of these games that we've been talking today. And I think it's kind of a no-brainer for me. I'm going for Forever Ball Roots right off the top.
Yeah, that's a good one because I don't have that on there. And a lot of the stuff that are on the list I already have in my library, so I can't really request it. And After the Fall is already on my list as well. A
Oh
lot of
yeah,
good
if, I
stuff.
mean, if it was a clean slate, we'd be going after the fall
Absolutely.
immediately, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But
But I would, if I didn't own Real Fishing, I'd be doing that. Loco Dojo, that's a great one as well. Denio, man, if you don't have that wish listed, I question your soul. Traveling Man says he's getting Dark Times for action adventure, and he's getting Demio to get people into VR. And I think this
there
is a
you go,
very
man.
solid plan. If you know anybody that loves Dungeons and Dragons, they're gonna geek out when they find out that Demio exists.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's some of these recent promos that I've seen for this thing just make it look amazing. And I got to imagine if that's your scene, man, it must be awesome. I mean, I'm not a big D&D guy, and it looks sick to me. So I can only imagine what those people think when they see something like that.
Absolutely. Lipnox wants to know if Forever Bowl is on Steam. I thought you found the trailer on Quest, right? Or Oculus stores. I don't even know. Is it on Steam?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's on Steam or not. I was thinking that you posted it from Steam the other day, didn't you?
I may have actually. I don't remember, to be honest. But
Yeah, you posted it in the Discord, and I think the one that you posted was from Steam.
so if I did, it was probably off of a web search page of Steam versus the actual Steam. But either way,
Let me see here. If it's not too far back, I'll see. And yeah, I'm not. Well, I guess I could just search.
yeah, I don't. I just searched it in the on here. I'm only seeing Premium Bowling coming to Quest. It even says I don't see Forever Bowling on Steam at all. So it may not be coming to Steam. I don't know.
Oh yeah, the one you posted is Oculus Quest as well. So yeah, it's kind of this is an Oculus Quest game.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, get used to it, PC players.
Yeah, this is just the beginning.
Indeed. All right. So that's you guys be sure to let us know what you wish listed in the comments down below. Again, this is a kind of a big deal for these developers. It's one way that you can help them out without spending any money. And we've talked about some great games today, so we'd be glad to know what you added to your wish list.
Yeah.
All right, Ruuts, that's bringing us to free stuff and killer deals. Everybody's favorite reminder. And last week, this is going to be the last week for the April PlayStation Plus offerings. So if you haven't already claimed Days Gone, Zombie Army 4, and Oddworld Soulstorm, you've got 2 days left to grab them. So go do it now. Don't let these awesome games get away from you. Do it now before there's still time.
Free is free.
That's right. Horizon Zero Dawn, also free as a part of the Sony Play at Home initiative. So anyone who has a PlayStation can go right now and claim Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition for absolutely no cost.
Have you tried that?
Like Ruuts? No, I got it in my library, but no, man, I barely play flat games. I've played Returnal, but I mean, it's next gen Sony exclusive. It takes that sort of thing really to get me out of the headset.
Yeah, I guess everybody's different. I teach their own. I just, to me that seems foreign for me as far as like some people. Somebody in the chat even said at least you're open to playing some flat. They were like I can't do flat anymore. I just have different moods. Sometimes I feel in the mood to play a flat game. Sometimes I feel in the mood to be in the VR. Just like sometimes I want to watch a movie. Sometimes I want to watch TV. Sometimes I want to surf YouTube. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many different options. To me, it seems so weird to limit yourself. Like you said, there's so many good, amazing games on flat, and maybe it's not your thing, but there's reasons to play it. But I guess to each their own. But I kind of feel like it's like the PCVR people saying, I'll never play a standalone game. You're really limiting yourself to a lot of amazing experiences or games by just saying, I just absolutely will never play that type of game ever again. Seems very bizarre to me.
Well, we've had many discussions about this, and I just prefer to play VR most of the time. I don't have unlimited time to play games. I only have a very limited amount of time to play games, and I don't
very
have
valid.
enough time. I don't get my feel of VR. Like
Right.
if I had hours and hours of VR, then I might be a little more open to spend more time on flat games. But as it stands, I don't have enough time for VR. So
I think
it
that's it. I
takes
think
something.
that's super
It takes
valid.
something like it takes something like Returnal to have me choose it over VR. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's my problem. I have so much time sometimes on my hands that I can't just do VR all the time. It's too much.
Right.
I need a little bit of flavor, a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of difference, you know.
Need to hang out with the guys sometimes. You can't just be doing it
Yeah,
with the ladies all the time, huh?
yeah, absolutely.
Um, PSN having a substantial VR sale this week. Some good titles on sale for some good prices. Of course, Star Wars Squadrons always blows my mind when this game goes on sale. It's such a recent AAA Star Wars release. $20 just seems odd to me that you can buy something that's this high of quality for that low of a price.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have your HOTUS, you're gonna be just having fun, man. It's so good with the HOTUS.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And how about this, Roots? Vader Immortal, the complete series, $15 on PlayStation right now.
Oh my god, dude! I wish I got that deal when it came out. $15. That's a good deal,
Yeah,
bro. You
it's
get
like
the
one
dojo.
episode.
Yeah, one episode, $15. That's what it should have cost. And then everybody would have been raving about how good it is. Although it is a good, and you do get the dojo. Don't forget about the dojo, but
It's a
definitely
dojo.
$15 is worth it for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about the Star Wars pinball, bro. It would be a lot better if it had a lightsaber dojo.
Yeah, well, that's true. I think they should just put a lightsaber dojo in every game, and then even if it's just like, okay, your game is mediocre, just add the dojo, and then people will say,
Yeah,
well, it's got the dojo.
the
Um,
dojo is awesome,
yeah.
man. Uh, talk about deal Roots. How about Intruders Hide and Seek for $2?
Oh wow, that's a awesome deal.
It's like stupid not to own that game, right?
I'm surprised anybody doesn't because I think that's. I mean, I've seen it on sale for $2 a couple times, and it's definitely worth playing for $2. Actually, it's worth the cost of admission when we played it originally. So
Yeah, yeah. One of the best examples of storytelling in VR, period. And you know, on top of that, a very challenging stealth-based game.
I was
So
just telling Mash how frustrating that game is today when it comes from getting caught. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not
man.
easy. It's got its that mansion is huge. So
Yeah, yeah. It's growing on me. This stealth. I'm getting used to playing more of them now and getting better at it. It works. It's a different thing in VR, isn't it? These stealth games completely different.
I do something that makes no logical sense, Wes, and I realize it's happening and I don't know how to fix it. I will pretend kind of like a baby that, peekaboo, that if I don't look, they can't see me.
Yeah,
And then it never works, bro. They get me and it's like, fuck, man. You kind of need to pay attention, Roots. So,
yeah. You can hear them coming up behind you, can't you?
yeah.
You know it don't work.
Yeah.
Ace Combat 7 on sale for $21. Now, this game only has limited VR content in it, but the content that is in it is very good. And this game has been $60 since the time that it launched. So, if this is something that you want to play, you're not going to get a much better deal than $21
Oh
on
God,
that.
that's a steal, dude. I pulled a scene, but couldn't remember if wasn't this a trailer that no matter what we do, we get nailed for it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I figured I'd pull it and then ask you, and before I put it on screen because I just don't feel like dealing with that today. So
No, no, we can't properly promote this game because we will be penalized by the content owner if we do. So we'll just tell you to buy their game.
yeah, just buy it. $21.
Don't Knock Twice Roots is one of the very few well-known VR horror games that I have never played.
I don't even, for some reason, I
Uh,
missed that on my list. Well, I'd say and we were just talking about how we've never played it. Maybe this is the time to pick it up when it's on sale. What's the cost of it?
$12.
Oh, Jesus, that's not bad.
Not too bad. And again, you tell Roots to don't knock twice. What's he going to do?
I'm gonna knock. I'm gonna walk in
He's
there and
going to
try
knock.
to knock really quickly.
I think this might even be on Infinity. It used to be, I think. I'm not sure if it still is.
Oh, I need to check it out. just so that we can say, man, I need to go knock. Somebody said it's really good, the movie and the game, the other episode. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know why I haven't played it. I just haven't.
yeah, sure.
One of the all-time great horror games and one of my favorite experiences that I've ever had in VR. Here They Lie, a profound uh, experience, which has meaning on multiple different levels. 8 bucks, and not for the faint of heart. This one. So if if humanity at its worst is something that disturbs you, you might want to approach this one with caution.
Yeah, yeah, it blew me away several times. I won't go into the stories because I've mentioned it many times, but it's just so good. Definitely worth trying, especially for that price.
Yeah, and if you have something against zebrahead guys, then you're really going to get your money's worth out of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of the ones that Wes's wet dream would be for the somehow the devs to come back together and make a sequel, right? Never
Dude,
happening, but
even just to have like a remaster, like a sequel would be great. But even if I didn't get a sequel, I want a proper remaster of this game so that I can play it and have the visuals be crystal clear and stuff. A PS5 patch, anything. I love this game so much, and I feel like it's becoming kind of a cult classic amongst the PlayStation community. Everybody loves this game, but I don't feel like it was a huge hit right off the bat. But now everybody knows it, everybody loves it, and it's too bad. It's too bad that we'll probably never see anything else from this franchise ever again.
yeah, maybe we'll see somebody that's inspired by it that actually could do a bit even more. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. That's
It's
right.
pretty cool.
But I love it. If you don't have it, $8 is a steal on it, and you should get it and play it right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Here They Lie was on our list as one of the great horror games. Paranormal Activity: A Lost Soul was one of the good ones, the very good ones, and it's only $6.
Oh wow. Which one was it? You said
Paranormal
oh
Activity:
yeah.
The
Okay.
Lost Soul.
I was looking
Yeah.
I was noticing my if you ever have your video card fan on too high, it was like messing with my mic. Isn't that weird? It's like I don't know. That's just a weird thing to me.
Robinson the Journey, another old school high quality game from Crytek. $9. I would certainly say it's worth it.
Yeah, dinosaurs, right?
Yep. Yep. Exploration game, some puzzling in it as well, but just being in the presence of the dinosaurs on this island is worth the $9 cost of admission.
Yeah, for sure.
Rush. Now, this is a no-brainer. When you talk about multiplayer games, something you can bring a friend into and have a blast, Rush is one of those games. And at $6, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
How dare you?
Come on,
Or
man.
hit the other one. And how dare you? How dare you interrupt your come on man, Greta? But I'll tell you what, dude, it's a really good racing game for sure. Or flying racing game.
Yeah, it's a wingsuit racing game, and there's a bunch of different tracks. There lots of different levels, different environments, and up to 8 players can play this on PlayStation.
Wow, that's
So,
crazy.
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
$6.
Yeah, it's a steal.
Shadow Legend. Have you got your feel of Skyrim, but want to play something similar but different? Shadow Legend's only $14.
Yeah, that's a really good game actually. Very good dungeon crawler, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what they say. I never played this one.
What? We talked about it. Did you not?
What?
I know we talked.
Wasn't me.
Yeah. Well, no, it was when Mainfan and Alex were on the show, and maybe it was just one of those games that you hadn't tried, but it's pretty good. So.
Yep, that's what they say, and especially like PSVR people like really dug this one when it finally made its way over to the console.
I was impressed. Now this may be different. Now I was impressed by the way it felt, like just moving around and doing everything was good.
Ultra Wings. I mean, before we had all these cool flight games that we have over the last year in VR, Ultra Wings was kind of where it was at. And it's a high quality title, going to be getting a sequel soon. But in the meantime, if you haven't got it, $7 all day long.
Do you think the sequel will be more graphic, like they'll upgrade the graphics and stuff? Because this was really
Slightly.
good. Yeah, it was good. It was good for what it was, and I enjoy it. So
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be a night and day overhaul, but I would expect slightly better graphics, um, and just some new environments and some new planes, pretty much.
cool.
But anyway, that's the conclusion of our picks from the PSN sale. There's obviously more PlayStation VR titles than what we listed here on sale. So if PSN and PlayStation is your preferred method of VRing, then you might want to check the sale out for yourself.
Absolutely.
Epic Game Store free title this week is Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. This, Roots, is a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Is it really? I
Mhm.
didn't even go over there today. I need to get my new game, just in case I decide to play it.
Yeah, add to that library, bro,
Yeah.
and take advantage of the generosity of Tim Sweeney.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know who loves Tim Sweeney?
My mom!
I don't know that either. Does she? Or do you love Tim Sweeney?
The Oculus Quest Store daily deal. I guess we have to check that one in real time because I did notes yesterday, and obviously I can't see the future on everything, so
You could have.
it
You could have
is
guessed, and you've probably been wrong.
probably. But let's see here. Fruit Ninja, $12. I don't know about that one, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a fun game, but $12 for Fruit Ninja, I feel like we're kind of past that.
Yeah. I don't really care about slicing fruit anymore. I guess if I was a newbie, maybe.
But that is the Oculus Quest deal of the day, Fruit Ninja. Now the bundles are a different story. There are three of them this week, and first of all, we have the Star Wars Day bundle, which gives you all of the Oculus Quest Star Wars content in one bundle for $60, which I think is a pretty good deal. You get all three Vader Immortals, you get the Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, and you get Star Wars Pinball. So you get those three for on average $20 a piece, which is like a $5 to $10 discount on each one. So not bad.
Unless you own everything except for pinball, then you're going to pay
Yeah.
full price. Which I don't.
Yeah.
To me that I've seen that several times. People are confused. They're like, "Why is this full price?" And it's like because they're not giving you a deal on the new game, and that's kind
Right.
of shitty.
They're just trying to trick you into buying more.
Yeah, I just think it's shitty, man. You should at least give me a couple bucks or something.
If it's going to be in the bundle, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise, just don't put it in the bundle.
yeah, absolutely. You should get a discount on every single game. Somehow get a discount. But it
Yeah,
is
they
a
did
good
the
deal.
same thing. Yeah, they did the same thing with the climb because I was going to pick up the climb in a similar situation, the climb two rather, because I already had the climb, and there was no discount. Like it just was full price, and I
So,
was like, "Well, fuck
so
you."
let me ask you this: do you think this business model is hurting or helping them? Because I've just established, or we both just established, they're preventing both of us from playing stuff, buying stuff. Because that's happened to me several times, where I've gone in and it's not even a deal, so I just don't buy it altogether.
Well,
So,
yeah, I don't pay full price. I mean, on the rare occasion that I buy a game, I certainly don't pay full price. Like you have to have the game of games if I'm going to just come in and buy a game full price right off the top,
yeah,
especially games like these that are, let's be honest, overpriced to begin with. Um, yeah.
yeah. Well, hopefully they'll learn from their lesson and maybe they can look at what they're selling. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're still selling the hell out of them. I just think it's kind of deceptive.
Yeah, it is a little weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
The other two bundles. First of all, we have Arizona Sunshine and Traffic Jams for $45. Basically, you buy Arizona Sunshine, you get traffic jams for $5.
Oh wow. Well, I wish it was the other way around. You buy traffic jams and you get Arizona Sunshine for $20 or something, because that's the deal I want. I would love to own Arizona Sunshine on Quest 2. I just can't justify the $40 price for a game that's been out for as long as it has. Even though I guess not on the Quest store, but still.
Yeah, it's overpriced. You know, everybody's always known it's overpriced, and this is a perfect example of what I was just saying. I'm not buying a game for full price. I don't think anybody's ever paid $40 for Arizona Sunshine.
Man,
You know,
it's crazy.
but it's a great game. It's just not. It's not Asgard's Wrath. You know what I mean?
And it's 5 years old. Like that has
Yeah.
to be taken into the consideration.
Now I'll tell you what. If they promise me that After the Fall has an 8-hour campaign, I'll lay down $40 right now for it and pre-order it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're talking about going back in time for Arizona Sunshine, you probably would have paid $40 then too. Because
Yeah.
at the time it was amazing, and it's still amazing. It's just it's starting to show its age. It's definitely not worth $40 today.
Yeah, that was one of the things I couldn't believe coming into VR was how cheap the games were. Like regular games were like 50 and $60. I was expecting VR games to be like $70, more, not less.
Yeah, well, we're getting there. Somewhat someday
Right.
we can dream, right?
Uh, the third bundle, Prison Boss VR and Please Don't Touch Anything. Two games that reviewed fairly well, but I haven't played either of them. All I can say about it is $24 is not a lot of money.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all. And I know Prison Boss. I know that game from Rowdy Guy, and I was just seeing his video today. It's like 6 million views or something. Uh, it's crazy, but it's actually kind of a cool game, Prison Boss. So
Yeah. Yeah, Prison Boss, another Infinity game, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
Anyway, that brings us to the Oculus Link store, also known as the Oculus Rift store. The same old stuff on there, but there was one notable title on sale, but that being Carnage Chronicles. There's an awesome co-op game for you. $17, worth it all day long.
yeah, absolutely. Now, do you know, is this game, can you play Rift and Steam together, or
I have no idea.
yeah, something I guess I'm curious about. I know I played it on Steam. I've never played it on Oculus, so
Yeah, I don't know. I think I played it. It was on Steam as well. So
cool.
it's a fun game. I can say that.
Yeah, it's definitely really good. Definitely worth $17 all day.
100%. All right. Speaking of Steam, some pretty good sales on Steam this week. First of all, Zero Caliber, a title we've talked about more and more lately, is on sale for 20% off at $20.
Yeah, that's a really good deal. $20 is worth it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Red Matter, one of the better story-driven puzzlers in VR, $15, certainly worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, those of you who watched my talk on horror games the other day, you might remember me telling you of a launch era title called Nevermind. That's a horror title that had the capability of pairing up with a biofeedback monitor, like a heart rate monitor, to try to determine when something in the game is scaring you so that it can use that one thing more to scare you even more. Well, it just so happens that Nevermind is on sale this week for $4. And you know, you know, dated game, performance issues notwithstanding, I did enjoy my time in this game way back when I played it, and certainly worth $4. I paid a lot more than that for it.
I wonder what it's like with that heart monitor. Like you said, you didn't get a chance to use it. Interested to see if it really does ramp things up or not.
I'd be interested to see what it's like with my 3080 because
Ooh.
this thing had some heavy aliasing in it. Like it was probably the most shimmery game I've ever seen. But there's a setting in the menu that makes it bearable. Like it's unbearable at first, but like there's a checkbox you put in for like VR graphics or whatever, and it makes it a lot better.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'd be interested to see what the thing looks like on modern equipment because I haven't played this since I was on CV1
Well,
way back when.
you could do both. You could find out how the heart monitor works, and you could check it out. And Lipnox VR coming through with the info. Carnage Chronicles does not cross play with Rift and Steam, unfortunately. So if you want to play it with your friends, you're gonna have to buy the same version.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Thanks for the info, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seeking Dawn. I think this is a pretty good candidate for a money show. Roots at $9.
This is a great candidate for both what you just said for a money show, and I want to know how this thing runs on Wes's 3080 slash. You said you have a 9700 or i9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you should have no. I mean, it should run super smooth for you.
I never had any issues with Seeking Dawn to begin with. The only issues I've ever had from Seeking Dawn are co-op issues. But as far as like playing it single player, I jacked the graphics up, and it's a beautiful game, and it always ran great for me.
Yeah, it's actually very very good game. Crafting, I mean, it's done so well. It just has some jank with the like you said with the multiplayer, but very good game. Definitely worth
Yeah,
the sale
underrated.
price.
Yeah, underrated. Worth $9 like all day long.
Absolutely.
Naal, The Lost Eye, a new release, one I enjoyed fairly well. $21, and I recommend it for $21.
Absolutely.
A-Tech Cybernetic. Here's one that I haven't tried, but a lot of people say that this is a very good game and that I should try it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have tried it, but I can't remember.
$5 for this one.
Oh God, there's no reason not to try it.
Mm-hmm. Operation Warcade. This is one that I have played extensively and can definitely say is worth the $10 that they're asking for it.
Yeah, I can't wait till this comes to Quest. Definitely worth $10 all day.
Yep, absolutely. He just put Pangman out on App Lab. I had no idea he was even going to do that.
Really? Wow. I definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, I need to play Pangman. It's the only one of the Ivanovich games that I haven't tried yet, and I like all the other ones, so I'd say it's probably good too.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, one more note when it comes to Steam this week, there is a free demo for Against, and Against is the upcoming horror / parkour / rhythm game from Joyway, the developers of Stride. This game looks super cool, and we can all try it right now for free on Steam.
Oh wow, that actually looks pretty cool. Looks different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks very different. It looks awesome. I'm actually looking forward to this one more than Stride even.
Yeah, me too. And I'm reluctant to try a demo because I want to play the game in its fullness.
Andy McAvoy coming through says, Wes, but Roots one of High Funky Coffee's roots. But Wes, a Red Bull or whatever you like. Okay, I got you. Bye. It's supposed to say bye, not but. Buy Roots one of High Funky Coffees, and buy Wes a Red Bull or whatever you like.
Yeah, well, we definitely appreciate that. Yeah.
I can take my half of the money and get a 4-pack of Red Bulls Roots. You just gonna be stuck with your one coffee.
One coffee. That's expensive coffee, bro. I don't usually.
Thanks,
and
Andy.
just to be fair, and I will say this: I buy coffee out less than I do drink it in here because I can cost of a bottle of water, a couple bottles of water, and some grounds. It's a lot cheaper, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I've actually been craving cappuccino here lately.
Ooh.
Why don't you go get you a Red Bull, and I'm gonna go get me a coffee.
Yeah, go get you a quad venti white mocha. That means you have 4 shots of espresso.
Andy realizing that all the typos that were in there. That's all right, bro. We got it. We figured it out after the second read through.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
So yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. Anyway, that brings us to Viveport Infinity. And as I mentioned earlier, 3 new titles came to Viveport this week. As Lipnox pointed out just a moment ago in the chat, Naal, The Lost Eye, is one of those titles, Roots, on the 31st of April. This brand new release hit Viveport Infinity, and it's a perfect example of why that, $10 or $12 per month, whatever it costs, is worth it all day, because that's like half the price of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not just stuck to this game. If you don't like this game, you can go to a different game, which I don't see how you would not like this game. But yeah, it's definitely the best deal in PC VR, hands down, for sure.
Yeah, I remember at the time, I don't remember, maybe it was Masher or somebody said that they were going to wait until it hit Infinity. Well, here you go, bro. There it is.
Yeah, Mash, you better play it now.
So I think both of those titles that came out that week. So it was Awaken and Naal, The Lost Eye came out the same week. And now they're both available on Infinity.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, say if you don't like it, you want to go play something else. Well, you can go play The Wizard's Dark Times. How's that for something else?
Yeah, and you're going to be playing it in full PC VR goodness with the graphics. This is one of the most beautiful games I've played in a long time, and the gameplay is so amazing, right?
Yeah, dude. Again, the best gesture based gameplay in VR that I've experienced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Diz the Game Cat making a good point. $8.99 per month if you choose the annual plan.
Ah, okay. So Lipnox says he didn't like the game. I don't know if that was Nau or Dark Times, but he was not a fan of it.
He said the screen is weird. He's probably talking about that blink effect. Yeah, there's a you just have to go into the menu and toggle it on and off every time you die, or at least that was the back then. They may have fixed it by now. I imagine they probably have, but there was a blink effect that would make the screen black out weirdly as you went through it. But there was a way to toggle something in the menu to fix that, but you had to do it every time you died because it would reset.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Diz says Wizards is awesome on PC, and I agree 100%. And like I said, I had forgotten how good the gameplay was till I went back in and tried it again, and I was like, damn, this game is good.
Well, he said he means he didn't like Naal, and he meant the podcast screen.
Oh, I gotcha.
Okay.
I gotcha.
All right. In addition to those 2 games, Viveport finally offering Gorilla Tag Roots, and I think they just added a new map or something to Gorilla Tag this past week.
This is a weird one for me, Wes, because this is free already, right? Which is cool. I mean, you want it on your platform already, but it's one of those things that I already have it on Steam. I probably would pick it up on Infinity as well. Well, I need to try this.
I don't have it on. Yeah, I don't have it on Steam. I haven't picked it up. I haven't played it yet. It's really the only reason I'm mentioning it here, because like the last 3 times I talked to my Viveport guy, he's always mentioned, dude, we got Gorilla Tag coming. Gorilla Tag's on the way. We're going to have it soon. And they're like,
well, I'll tell you, man, people love this game, man. I've never played it either. I downloaded it with the intention to play it because I figured we might talk about it at some point, and then I just never went into it. But I know Delirium Drew and a couple of people have raved about this game. I think it was Drew. So
Money Show 9 live from Gorilla Tag.
Gorilla Tag. Hell yeah.
Imagine trying to have a friggin' conversation in the middle of this kind of stuff.
Chaos, dude. Chaos, yeah.
We might use it as a backup if we crash out or something, or whatever we're playing. Maybe we'll go Gorilla Tag styles.
Well, that is a reality that people don't realize. Sometimes our first choice is not always, perfect example was that pool game,
Yeah, golf pool.
Golf pool. And we totally were going to do it from there. And then it was like, no, you're not. So.
Yeah. Lipnock says Gorilla Tag custom levels are crazy. Womp's Fortress in Gorilla Tag. So yeah, there's like Mario levels in Gorilla Tag now.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I mean, if you're the contact from Viveport is stressing that it's coming multiple times, it's got to be bigger than we even know. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't be stressing it to you unless um, it's being very well received.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was right on the verge of going viral there for a good minute,
yeah, yeah, because it was
By the
free.
way, while we're talking about these custom levels for this thing, I want to shout out the modders out there in the modding community continuing to do God's work. We recently talked about GTFO getting a great mod and Fallout 4, which is probably, I mean, if I can ever get the new releases to stop, that Fallout 4 mod's probably the top thing I want to play right now. I really want to check that out. Um, I mean, then there's Luke Ross mod that we've talked about many times.
You still
And
haven't gone in
now
it.
I've just read about there's a No Man's Sky mod that seems really cool that I just learned about today.
Wow. Somebody said there was a rumor there's a Red Dead Redemption 2 mod. I mean, I haven't confirmed or denied that, but I would love it.
Les Marwick says the Outer Wilds VR mod is great. Yeah, I installed that one and never booted it.
Yeah, no, it was good. And that's the thing is there's just so many good mods and how many games out there. You know, it's pretty much there's not. I don't think there's any game out there off the limits. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe a cyberpunk mod, but let's be honest, who wants to play that game after all the jank that has ensued from it?
Yeah, see that's the thing about this. When it comes to the VR platforms, you know, the advantages with regards to game releases always ebbs and flows from one platform to the next. This week PC or this year PC will have the best games. Next year PlayStation will have the best games. Next year Quest will have the best games. But even when PC VR is down, they always have modding. Modding is always a fallback that makes their platform worth having at all times because any day you could have some flat game just all of a sudden able to play it in VR
Yeah, absolutely.
and like legit play it with full motion controls. I mean, so many examples
Yeah,
of
and
this.
it's a point that Scion and Drilla will make a lot, and it's very valid. You know, I mean, let's ask a quest person that has only a quest and no computer. How's your GTA 5 mod? You know, I GTA 5, the Luke Ross mod has been one of the coolest, best things I've tried this year in VR. I can't do it without a PC. I guess you could try to do it with Shadow PC, maybe. I mean, that's starting to try to take off now. But there's benefits to PC VR, and we downplay because Quest is amazing, but there are reasons why you would want to have a PC VR if you don't, for sure.
Onakazi in the chat asks, "What is the No Man's Sky mod?" It's a mod that's based around realistic immersion to make it a more realistic experience. So they minimize the HUD in the game. When you're exploring the planets on the surface level, all of this text and stuff that's popping up constantly in your face, most of that's been eliminated. So now it's just a straight exploration. If you want to examine an element or something that you're finding and harvesting, you have to like literally take out your PDA or whatever and scan the thing to get the info on it. It don't just pop up in your face. Furthermore, um, the uh, the navigation with the ship is much more challenging now. It's not so arcade style. It's a lot more realistic uh, and difficult to drive your ship,
Oh God.
and you can't automatically summon your ship anymore. So if you park your ship on a planet and you decide to take off on foot to explore, you better keep your bearings right and pay attention to how far you're walking because you got to walk back to your ship. It's not going to come and rescue you anymore. So, a much more realistic experience is what they're going
Huh?
for, and it seemed really cool.
I don't know if fetching the ship is not realistic. I mean, we got that in 2021. I just pull out my phone and have my Tesla drive over and pick me up.
Right.
If it doesn't crash, burn.
Well, the idea was to
Make it more difficult.
realistic exploration is what they're trying to get across here. You are on your ship, and you're discovering new planets like you would as if it were a real thing. And and you're going to park on a planet, and you're going to take off on foot and set up camps and do what you can, but it's not all going to be spoon fed to you anymore. It's going to be something that you have to work at a little bit.
Yeah, sounds hard.
All right. Anyway, I think it's going to. Oh, how could I forget our final set of reminders, and that is how you can support us and our channel. Of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done it already, please consider subscribing by clicking the big red button, and don't forget the bell to stay up with all of our content here on Virtual Strangers. Of course, for those of you who have already subscribed, as we mentioned earlier, if you'd like to do a little something extra, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, you can gain access to my weekly show notes, the occasional insider update, and the even more occasional, always awesome money show, which we have full intentions on going live with in just a few hours. So you guys are not going to want to miss it. Be sure to go to our Patreon link down below and sign up while there's still time.
Yeah.
Of course, for those of you who don't want the show to end, who hates saying goodbye, well, you don't have to say goodbye, friends. We're going home, but mi casa, zu casa, friends. And we live on the Discord. There's an invitation just for you down in the description below. And all you got to do is click on that, and you will be whisked away to a magical land where Roots and Weasel and Scion and the whole chat is available at your fingertips 24/7. So be sure to click that invitation down below and come and join the family.
Yeah, come home. Think about it like this, like you're one of my favorite parts of watching live streams is the chat, right? Well, now you got chat all day long, and you can't get away from it, bro. Well, you can if you want. Just mute it.
Andy McAvoy says, money, 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 money.
Mm-hmm.
Money.
Money show coming soon.
That's right. Anyway, if we're going to have a money show, I got to get a break and get a nap in because I got to work tonight. So with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you Wednesday-ish, Thursday night-ish, late night. Anyway, God, Roots, what a show, by the way, we got coming on Wednesday. What do we got? We got Demio. We've got the Wizard's Dark Times. We've got Layers of Fear for PlayStation VR. We've got Star Wars Pinball, and God knows what else is going to pop up between now and then. Dude, it's jam packed.
It's gonna be a jam packed, fun time, and I can't wait to talk about Demio or Demeo.
Anyway,
Demio.
With that said, friends, thanks again. We'll see you Wednesday.